Hey guys, we'll be starting the show shortly. Tonight's guest is going to be Natalie. She is a CRM, a geologist, focusing on, that. Former member of the Methodist Church, and we're going to be discussing, evolution, but also typical just geological and rock stuff. So hang out, we'll be starting soon. Welcome, everybody, to the show. Welcome. Got a great guest today. It's about time. If you don't know, Natalie was supposed to be like the first guest on the show. But, we kept missing paths. She took a vacation. I had that weird Mormon guy on last week. So now's the week. We finally have Natalie here in front of us. I also want to extend my warmest welcome to Al Biddy for joining the Tang group. So for her, I appreciate all the work that you've done on TikTok. You're a well-deserved member, and I can't wait to see some of the stuff that you're going to bring to the Tang group. We have some great shows coming up, and next week here on the Atheist Troll Live, maybe if they show up, I have a gentleman that wants to argue about biblical slavery, and he's going to take the affirmative on that. And I have some surprises in store. Maybe we have someone that's part of the Tang group that knows a little thing about biblical slavery. Maybe he can just sort of pop in halfway through and correct some of the claims that this gentleman's made. So go ahead and put that on your calendars next Sunday. Keep that in mind. And then, as always, here on the Atheist Troll Live, what else would we talk about but merch? If you go into the Linktree, atheist.troll, you can see here, you can go to the, actually, there's an Amazon store now, but there's also a merch. You can actually check here on Amazon what has gotten through the reviews on Amazon. That's right. My Psalms t-shirt. Happy is the one who seizes your infants and dashes them against the rocks. And we have a nice little yeet right here. It's only $20. But if you want a better selection of t-shirts, then you want to go to the official merch store for the Atheist Troll Live, where you can purchase a shirt and save 10% by using promo code BAND. We have hoodies, we have glassware, we have t-shirts, we have everything that you need to upset your family at the next family reunion. Thanksgiving's only a few months away. If you want to be the talk of the table, make sure to pick up one of these shirts. And if you don't want to go too hard, you can pick up something nice like a Happy Atheist shirt, which I'm wearing today. Nothing derogatory. Just a happy atheist. So let's cut the advertisements and let's get to the show and bring on Natalie, the geologist. Hello.
Hello. How are you doing?
I'm doing well.
Excellent.
So what's up? How have you been? How was your vacation?
Oh, it was wonderful. I went and saw rocks, in the mountains.
Nice.
In their natural habitats.
Right. Yeah. They are everywhere. It's almost like the planet's made out of it.
In fact, I think I put a TikTok one or two TikToks up where there's signs that say "Watch for rocks and wildlife," and I'm just like, I just thought it was really funny because they always have to like inform you to watch for like falling rocks would make sense, but they don't put the word falling down. Just watch for rocks.
Watch for rocks. Yeah, there's one.
And it's like, don't gotta tell me twice.
Right.
Done.
Yeah. Well, I've noticed. So they say astronomers walk around looking at the sky. Do geologists walk around looking at the ground?
See, here's the fun part is I'm super into astronomy as well. So I do stare at the sky quite a bit, but I just wait until, nighttime because you can't see the rocks as well.
That's
night.
True. Yeah.
So yeah. But no, I definitely do stare at the ground. My friends hate hiking with me because I'm rather slow because I actually do look at the geology around me rather than, it's like, we got to go to the destination. It's like, I like to see steps along the way. So
yeah, for sure. I would think so. And then while you were in Colorado, did you go to any parks?
Yes and no. I'm still mending my broken leg. So I went on very, very flat walks.
Did
and
you
I was very
tell us how
sad.
you broke your leg?
Yeah, I fell down a mountain.
that can do it.
That'll do it. Fell about 30 feet. So that would do it.
30 feet.
Yeah, it was a little bit of a tumble as well.
Sure.
But it was, landed hard with a bunch of gear on it and just,
thanks guys for the super chat. Now, I don't know why we can't see your sticker. You have to look at it in YouTube to see the sticker, but it's a rainbow. He sent us a rainbow.
Oh, it's beautiful.
From the Blazing Wizard Pope.
So sweet.
And then, of course, whoever Normalizing Atheist is, possibly someone that didn't answer my phone call before this show started. Super chat, how much Jeff looks like a weasel-faced troll, or your best roast and get and get a free Atheist Troll shirt if Jeff chooses your super chat to read out. Sure, I'll give out a shirt. That's fine. If we get a good roast.
I love the little eating baby.
That's
so great.
That's one of my favorite. I went out to eat earlier today and I wore my Bears shirt, the one about the kids killing bears. And I was just like waiting for someone to say something. And I was in a chat earlier. I was in an Instagram chat and someone said that like my shirts were offensive. And I said, well, what's offensive about it? And they said, well, you're making God look like he's a jerk. And I said, I just wrote the Bible. Like, it's just what's in the Bible.
I was like, I'm just really saying the Bible. What's wrong?
The Bible is making your God look like a jerk.
Well, it wouldn't be the only time I've worn shirts like that. Back in the day, I used to, in high school, I got in trouble. I almost got suspended for wearing a T-shirt that was a dinosaur eating like little Jesus fish.
How was that? Like, how is that big of a deal?
Oh, I refused to turn my shirt inside out, and I was threatening the Christian community at my school. So,
but they could wear a shirt that says like Jesus loves you or something like that.
They could wear a shirt that said you're going to hell if you don't believe in Jesus, and I couldn't say anything about it because at the time it's like I didn't have a specific religion I followed,
right?
Which means that like my religious right was like null and void. So.
Thank goodness for the Satanic Temple.
Yeah, right.
Giving us a fake religion to use as a crutch so that we can use that to progress our political agenda.
Oh, absolutely.
So
that should just be a new political. It shouldn't just be a religion. We should actually make the Satanist.
Party?
Let's make it a party.
So I broke my.
I vote Satan.
I broke my left foot.
Oh, yuck!
Back in 2014. And I did it in such a way that I ripped the toe bone, the big toe, the middle bone out of the foot and pulled the tendon out and ripped it.
God.
And I will tell you that is the most painful injury I've ever had in my life. Because I don't know, foot injuries are pretty bad. Toe injuries are the worst. Don't break your toe. But
they're a pain in the ass because you can't walk. So like you lose mobility.
And this is when I was living in Colorado. So can you guess what I did to break my toe?
You fell down a mountain?
No.
Oh.
I tripped in my living room.
That's great.
Oh, wow. The Blazing Wizard Pope giving the best.
Aw.
$50.
Little ones against the rock. I do like that we're sponsoring the rock shirt specifically tonight. That's a good one.
Very talkative, yes.
Yeah, I'm all for dashing youngsters against rocks.
I guess the question is, what kind of rocks would they be dashing in the Middle East?
Well, I've always wanted to stone someone. Just because, they always say, like, you can stone an adulterer. I'm like, there's a lot of those out there.
Yeah, there are. That would be a more...
I would love to throw a rock at one.
Like, how many stones does it take to kill somebody with It just seems like a weird way to...
Stoning, there's two types of stoning. There's the throwing and humiliation stoning, and then there's the actual slabs of rock where you suffocate the person to death and crush them. So...
both sound terrible.
They are. They're not fun. I mean, I wouldn't know personally. I mean, I have been hit by a rock or two, but that wasn't because someone was stoning me. That's because I just can't catch. There's like, hey, check this out. And I was, yeah. Doesn't work quite right.
So what was I gonna say? So I tripped on my toe. Basically what happened is I had I was walking and I had just like that. And I had pants on that had a hole. They were just like sweatpants. I was in my house, day off. And I had a hole in the right leg, and my big toe went through that hole as that foot was going backwards. And so it just pulled the toe under the foot, and then I stepped on it and crunched it like a lobster leg.
I'm going to sound like a grandma saying, like, why you got to wear holy pants?
Pretty much. That's about what it was like. But so I have amassed 6 clips.
Okay.
Actually 7 clips. 5 clips that we're going to talk about. Well, let's get
out of the way. Sorry, my dog.
No, go ahead.
Tina,
so 5 clips that we're just going to play. 2 of them are for fun. Mm-hmm. The rest are for us to debunk. Yeah. So let's see. What do we want to start? Are you going to bring your dog on camera?
She borfed. She doesn't bark. She talks. I call it borfing. Where she goes, whoa. She just makes noise. Something's out the window. Oh. No, there's another dog out the window. She probably wants to go play.
Let's start with the one about crystals, because we can do that. One's not like one to debunk.
That's not a debunker. Yeah, that's just a fun one.
Yeah, that's a fun one.
Yeah.
So where opal typically comes from Australia, right? That's where I hear of opal.
Yeah, that's where the gem quality opals tend to come from. But you can find them in Wyoming. You can find them in Montana. I've heard of some in Oregon, if I'm not mistaken. It's just areas that have high pressure and a lot of water seeping through that area. Normally, it's not necessarily in sedimentary rock, but you can find it there. I have opalized petrified wood somewhere around here. Yeah, it's just white. And actually, I think I have it right here. Yeah, here it is. So it's opalized petrified wood. It's just white and like kind of translucent.
Wow, that's kind of cool.
But it doesn't have any shine or anything to it. It just means that like the water rushed through it and mineralization happened. Here, there's a better right in there. You can kind of see a little better. But there's just a replacement of minerals that occurred while water was moving through the where the wood once was, and replaced it into being a piece of petrified wood, which is fascinating. But yeah, the one she's holding right there, that looks like one from Australia. That looks like a really nice fire opal. Mm-hmm.
Which is really expensive.
Yeah.
And what she have here? Petroleum quartz.
I've never been able to hold one of these. I want to sometime. I like collecting rocks that black lights will like make them pop. Yeah.
So there's a mineral and stone museum near me, and they have an entire section of phosphorescent stone or minerals.
Let me guess. You walk into a dark room and they just have them on the wall. Yeah.
Yeah, and you can push a button and they'll light up.
Yep.
But they also have some like really, really, really large mineral pieces there. And they have like a geode that's probably 7 or 8 feet tall, cracked open. You could stand inside of it. I mean, it's that big. Yeah. So they have some pretty cool stuff, and they're all since I'm in Georgia, it's all stuff that's typically not found necessarily in Georgia, but it allegedly was found in Georgia. So
I need to go fossil hunting in Georgia at some point. There are some really interesting fossils that you can find towards Savannah. Velvet macrolite. Yeah.
What the hell is that?
Velvet macrolite is beautiful. I actually don't know a whole lot about this. Normally when it forms, macrolite has these little rings, almost like giraffe-like patterns that are all throughout it. The green comes from the copper oxidization, and then most of the time they polish over it. Macrolite's not one that I actually have any in my collection, and it's not one that I've studied very thoroughly. But it is pretty dense and it's pretty heavy, and I know that crystal collectors really, really like it. Every time I see it, it's always $50 and up, even if it's like a small piece. So those ones are tricky. But what's happening here is it's velvet in that the way that it was made, it's the way the water basically moved through the rock made a velvet lining. It's almost like wool. It just pulls through these really interesting striations that make this nice little crystallized formation. Whereas like the other macrolites are just like chert nodules where they were trapped within rock and it just had to form in a secure location. Whereas those ones were exposed to the air so they could actually crystallize and form full structures.
So I'm assuming that they don't always come in a green color?
Not always. No, I've seen macrolites in like a light blue and I've seen them in like a white. So
I guess this one because of the copper content, maybe, because I think it said this one.
Yeah,
copper.
It looks like, I'm guessing those are Madagascar macrolites, but that's a wild guess. I could be wrong.
Well, how am I going to prove you wrong? So I'm not going to pronounce that.
Anhydro.
Okay, so anhydro, I would just say in water.
Yeah, anhydro quartz is in water. It's with water trapped inside of it. Anhydro quartz, actually what she's holding looks a lot like smoky quartz. But you can see there's actually a bubble in there that's trapped water, which means that while this crystal was forming, at some point there was water available to it, like within this open air system, and it just got trapped. Think like a stalagmite.
Okay.
Water dripping inside of it. It almost creates like a little bubble around it, and then continues to form. And that's a terminated quartz. So you can see her thumb has the area where the crystal would have been attached to a wall, but her pointer finger is closer to the termination of the quartz.
Okay. So, but what I don't understand is if it's to form quartz, we need pressure.
Yes.
And heat.
Yeah.
And then wouldn't that like push the water away from it?
You'd think so, right? But what happens when water leaks in as the crystals are forming already?
I don't know. I would think that if it's under some sort of pressure, that would keep stuff away from it.
You'd think so, but there are times when water can still seep through, and in this case, this is an anhydro quartz would be an example of this, where
Isn't that pretty
water
rare?
seeped through. Yeah, those are rather rare.
Yeah,
she's holding a very nice one. It's not one I've never been able to hold one. Celestite, I've never really messed with much.
It looks
it's
cool.
All terminated. Kind of looks like she got that out of a geode type structure. So I'm guessing it was a pocket and she cracked it open and that was what she had.
It looks like candy.
It does.
Tasty. I don't know what it is, but it looks delicious.
I feel like I need to go get my rock candy and just like eat this while we're on the show.
I was for whatever reason, when I was younger, I was obsessed with rock candy.
It's just
sugar. Know why. I know it's just sugar, but I was upset that kind of texture, I guess. I don't know. Something about rock candy was, maybe it's because it wasn't readily available. I couldn't, it wasn't something you could go just buy. So, we would always take trips. I grew up in Georgia, but most of my family's from Southern Illinois. So we'd always have to travel. And that was a common, roadside gas station find.
Yeah.
On the way.
Oh,
so
yeah.
Maybe it's just that. Okay.
You always find fudgeries, and they'd have rock crystals, candy, and then they'd have like ridiculously sized gummy worms or something.
Yeah, gummy worms are the current thing that I'm addicted
to. Okay. So. Well, it's good to know your addictions haven't changed too much.
Yeah, it's just candy. Don't tell my dentist. Let's go straight to now. Let's get into some. I mean, this is some hard science. Let's just get right into it.
Jerusalem geologist believes we have nails that were used to crucify Jesus.
So Jerusalem geologist. I'm assuming.
I don't know who Jerusalem geologists are. Can you give me a name? I would like a name, please.
There you go. No, wait.
No, that's just a guy.
That's
the finder. That doesn't necessarily mean that's the archaeologist that studied it.
True. Probably isn't.
Ones that was taken from the Caiaphas site, and they were used to crucify somebody. According to this, it says fragments of nails believed to have been used in Jesus' crucifixion have ancient wood and fragments of bone on them, according to the new study the New York Post reported. You can pause and read the rest there. Now, if you don't know who Caiaphas is, read the rest there.
Yeah, let's pause that for a second. So the thing is,
this bottom part.
Oh, I didn't even read it. The fragments appeared for the first time in 1990 excavation of a burial
below
site.
that.
Scholars of the time slam the suggestion. Okay, so I got to say something before you keep going. I don't know anything about Caiaphas, but I want to go ahead and throw out there that he's going to go on to say that the Caiaphas site is obviously has something to do with Caiaphas, and it might, but it doesn't necessarily mean like anything. It's not necessarily a correlation. It's just the name of the site that may correspond to that area. Caiaphas was, what did he say? He's going to say it's like a prophet or something. Priest? I don't know.
Yeah, it is a priest. Yeah, but I mean, the thing is, and this happens quite. Have you ever been to Italy?
I have not been to Italy. It's on the bucket list.
So if in Italy, or if you go to Israel or some of these other sites. Now, I have to disclaimer: I have not been there myself, but I have a friend of mine who is a world traveler. They would always, him and his family would take a trip every summer, so to a different country. So it would be Italy or Jerusalem or wherever. And he's visited the holy sites in Jerusalem. And he says that they will literally, every single little corner vendor has the exact nails that were used to crucify Jesus. Not a sample, the exact ones.
Yep.
So everybody's
that's
claiming they have the nails.
So I did a TikTok a while back talking about reproduction of artifacts and selling them and whether or not they are legal or not. And it all depends on where you are. In those areas, they can recreate and try and sell legitimate artifacts because that's what their country allows them to do. However, it makes it very difficult when someone claims that it's the real thing and we have no context. So this goes into something that's called provenience. It is the necessity of finding an item or an archaeological item in situ on a site at the right layer that corresponds with the age of said artifact. And when they're disturbed like that, we can't correlate anything. I mean, we lose almost, I would say about 80% of any of the information that we would need to get from it. When it's like someone says, "Oh, this is cool," and just pulls it out of the ground, well, then we just lost a ton of information.
What did Kyle? What are you talking about? Kyle, I don't know what you said.
I see $1 and I see Kyle.
Kyle, we want to hear your message.
Kyle just slipped $1.
He's just flipping me $1.
He's just like sliding one to you. It's like, for what?
So this is a very good message. There's a documentary about the billion-dollar industry Israel is doing to religious tours for Christians, and Israelis don't even believe in Jesus. They just take their money.
That's accurate.
It's the same with like the tombs of Jesus. How many freaking tombs of Jesus are there in the Holy Land? Oh, like 150. Like every single little town has a tomb of Jesus. It's a hole in a rock. That's what it is. Like it's not
a hole in a rock.
So okay, let's go on to the next one.
Just to show once again that rock doesn't take millions of years to form, here's some Chinese coins that were on the China Sea for 700 years. Mm-hmm. And if those coins weren't there to date stamp this, you would say that was rock that was millions of years old.
It's a lot like sandstone, don't you think?
Yeah, yes.
Yeah, okay.
And if those coins were
like calcified sandstone, right? Have you ever been to the ocean and picked up a shell and it looks like it's attached to rock, but it's really just kind of like really, really solid sand?
Yeah, it's like almost in like what feels like concrete.
Yeah, that's what that is. And so, yes, that can happen in under 700 years. The fact that he has it in his hands is like, it's 700 years old. Those coins could be 700 years old. Yeah, sure. But I mean, they've done tests where they've put like, I don't know if you've ever seen like glass bottles. People love collecting sea glass all the time because it's broken up and everything. But it only takes like, I don't know, a decade or so to get sea glass as soft as it is or as smooth. But the calcification process is extremely fast. So hold on. What does it say? Song Dynasty coins encased in rock. 80 to 1279 AD. These coins are from an access
shipwreck.
Ah, damn! I wish I could
on the
read
China
that.
Sea.
You know for a fact, like
what is the point of this? What are they trying to prove?
I don't know. I think so what this guy is, and I've debunked a bunch of his stuff. This is from the Lost World Museum on TikTok. He has a lot of he's a New Earth creationist type person. He doesn't like to believe that things are very old. anytime a geologist says, "Oh, this fossil is a few million years old," he's like, "Yeah, well, there's a footprint in something that was made only like that was made in that same approximate time period." And that's not the case. I think we're going to see that video in a bit. But what he's trying to prove is that rocks can form quickly, and the thing is, no one's telling them they can't. It's not often that rocks form quickly, but there are some cases, in the case of halite, in the case of iron, in the case of aluminum, in the case of sand and calcification and aragonite. These are all rocks that can form rather quickly and are water soluble. So when something is near water and you have something near water that's constantly hit with water over and over again, those items, after the water evaporates, are going to latch onto the coins in this case and evaporate, and those items will just start to cement themselves onto the coins themselves. So if you've ever had a homegrown crystal kit as a kid, like 1 week you have like this whole Christmas tree of crystals. Yeah, it's not that shocking. It's just not something you'd expect to be.
But the issues I have with the young Earth creationists doesn't really have to do with the formation of rocks. Like, that's not the.
They are trying to disprove geology as a science so that they can push aside all geologic studies in their proofs. It's a way of dismissing science. You know, like you just want to get rid of it. But
I would say that so I had a kind of a weird in and out with science literacy and also my understanding, and also battling against that with being young, going to a private Christian school and dealing with, the authority from that and understanding, and also young Earth creationist was taught there. So I was always really big in science. And I could say one of the first huge things for me was like in I want to say 6th or 7th grade, we had to take a we had to take a chemical and do a write-up on it. And so I picked chlorofluorocarbons, and that was what I did my write-up on. So CFCs. And
that's fun. That's not at all like morbid or sad.
No, it's not. Yeah. So, but I had to, so here I am in 7th grade. So here I am in 7th grade reading about ozone, understanding how ozone's created, understanding what CFCs do to the ozone, all those kinds of things. And then after middle school, I went to this private high school. Are there any religious people in class?
Yeah, every geology professor in college will say this, and if you have any issues, they'll tell you to get out, and they won't refund you. You're out.
Yeah,
it's very quick.
So and then so I go through that. I'm like stoked about it. Like I want to be an astronaut at that age, or whatever. Then I get into high school, and this is when like religion starts really becoming more prevalent in my life, because as a Catholic, you go through confirmation around the 8th grade range. You're getting more involved in the church. And so there's this like authority dynamic that I'm dealing with. And at the time that the 9th and 10th grade classes I was taking at a, high school that was showing us Ken Ham videos, and stuff like that. So, and I don't know any better. So radioactive carbon dating, and carbon dating and other forms of dating was something that they used as a deterrent to the age of the Earth. They would say, well, look, you can't, if you do this type of dating on rock, you're going to get this result. And it wasn't until later when I was, outside of, probably in my 20s, where I was actually like, wait a minute, they don't use that kind of dating for rocks. Like that's not how you date rocks. So when they're saying that a rock is, 100 million years old or whatever, what are we doing to figure, like, how do we know that?
So one of the main things we look at is stratigraphy. We can age different, so say you have like multiple layers of bedrock, right? That the one at the top is the youngest. You always know that, because unless there's volcanic eruption, which there's issues in that. But the easiest thing is it's youngest at the top, oldest at the bottom. Based on how much or how thick the layers are, that can also depend on the age. And we can actually just count backwards in time.
We got 100 million layers?
What?
You got 100 million layers?
You can.
Oh, well, that's hard to count. I'm not doing that.
So that's something that people do whenever they do drilling. They
Right.
look at various layers. Something that the oil industry does a lot, but they don't like publish the information, is knowing exactly the age groups between each rock layer. But yeah, you can do that. Certain rocks are able to be don't do carbon dating with rocks. You'll do that with fossils normally, or with not even fossils. You do it with human remains that can become petrified potentially, or just getting the basic age group, as long as it's younger than 14,000 years. So carbon dating doesn't work with rocks.
Organic things.
Yes, exactly.
Living.
Yeah, thank you. Yeah, it's organic. Yeah, organic things. But we sometimes use aragonite dating, which we've done with stalagmites and speleothems within within cave structures. We can do isotope aging, which you can do oxygen isotope aging, which is something that you can do on ice cores in the Atlantic and Arctic Ocean. Atlantic.
Well, so
and the Arctic and Antarctic.
I remember watching a Cosmos episode too, and they were talking about the oxygen content in the atmosphere,
the bubbles
like
within
a million years ago. Yeah, and I'm like, well, how the hell they got the oxygen for that? And then I'm like, I found out about the cores that they pull up in the Arctic.
Yeah.
They're like, oh, okay, so there's bubbles.
Water's really easy to tell.
Yeah.
Like, I mean, with ice and with snow, it's a really solid definition year by year by year, and you can just count. And it's really cool because anytime it's an exceptionally cold year, you'll have like a chunk of like 1 year, will have just like all this data inside of it, and all these little and people that say that ice doesn't form bubbles is bullshit, because the space between atoms are already huge, and there's so much to collect. So you'll not only collect the oxygen isotopes, whether they are higher or lower, but you can also collect carbon isotopes. You can collect the different chemicals that are in the air, which is why we know the Industrial Revolution caused such a big splash in our atmospheres, because when we look back just within the last 100 years, when we look back at those ice cores, we can see that the carbon numbers are way up. We can see that the isotopes are way down, and it's the fluctuation is drastic. I mean, and like some of the ice itself was gray, whereas like white. Yeah, there you go. Oh, wait, brilliant. I mean, it doesn't give you any ages or anything, but yeah, you can see year by year by year the structure between them. It's amazing. Yeah, isn't it pretty?
Oh yeah, yeah.
You see that gray ring? Did you see that gray ring?
Yes,
that's a volcanic eruption.
Oh wow, okay.
Yes, so that had to have been probably near Iceland. I'm guessing that's the Arctic.
Yeah.
So yeah, that's something that happens.
So yeah, and so that's where. So it's interesting. So when you ask, what's interesting about this? I'm going to say interesting one more time. When I ask a question to a theist, and I ask a very specific question. I say, "How do you know that this happened?" And their answer always comes back to personal opinion, emotion, something like that.
Yeah.
I can ask you a question, and you can give a pretty good answer that I can validate readily, easily. And it really doesn't take a rocket surgeon to understand how we're getting.
Well, and if you ask me a question and refuse to listen to the first answer I've given you, I can give you another example that's also that also proves it. So one of the things with ice cores that we actually correlate is what's called a floating timeline. A floating timeline happens when you have chunks of time that you don't know quite where to place. They do this with tree rings as well, and you can actually do it with petrified wood on top of that. So you can look at the tree rings on petrified wood to actually find ages of the petrified wood. So there's ice cores that we've had that have made these amazing charts. I should have sent you one of my professor's old charts because it's amazing. But there was a guy that drilled into his petrified wood and came out with a floating chart. And what ended up happening is the aging on the timeline and the type of climatology that the data that came out matched and correlated exactly with like a 700-year span back in like I want to say 14,000 years ago. and it just fit in there like a puzzle piece. It was crazy. They just correlated exactly the same time. So you not only now know what was happening at the Arctic during this timeline, you now know what was happening, say, in New Mexico at the same time. And if you look, and then on top of that, you can look at speleothems in caves. The cave speleothems, they collect isotopes as well. But what we really look for is the mud that happens during monsoon seasons in certain areas, because if it floods higher, there's mud that gets trapped between the layers each year as they, drip down and calcify or aragonite builds up. And those create floating timelines, and those get pieced into the same timeline as the ice cores and the petrified wood. And all these floating timelines end up correlating each other, and the data's crazy accurate. And that's without using too much math to figure things out. I mean, that is like, it's as simple as it gets when you find, hey, this data matches this data, and it just slips right in.
Right.
Yeah, there's no reason, like, arguing against it is harder than arguing for it.
So what's Angier talking about here?
What happened where the ice is more white or more clear? Is it pollution? It can be. It could also be pressure. So what happens in those areas that are, that one doesn't show it quite as well, but you can kind of see that in these, there's some lighter areas and some darker areas. The darker areas are areas where where the snow melted down and became more compact, and then another snowfall happened the following year, and then that was lighter. With that white area, I would assume that it was just, it doesn't have to do with pollution so much as it has to do with the pressure of the weight of whatever snowfall happens that year.
So if it's more, obviously, if it melts, it's going to take up less space. It'll be more compact.
It would be more compact, but depends on how much snow there was that fell that year. So if there's a lot of snow and then it gets really hot, it's going to melt down pretty far, but you're going to have a big thick of like blue versus the white where it will just stay in compact.
So this is how we could possibly, I don't know, have information about our climate over the last 100 million years.
This is literally the study of climatology. This is what I'm talking about. Yeah.
Yeah. So when I was studying geology, I really wanted to get into environmental science for.
It's depressing.
Yeah, it is.
It's great. It's really fascinating, but it is so depressing. I can tell you, I had a major depressive episode after my first geology class. Not geology, my environmental class.
Yeah, I wanted to do something with the atmosphere. I go back to the CFCs. We're going back to the CFCs. When I found out about CFCs, I was like, "What the fuck?" And I would like, my mom would have a can of hairspray. I'm like, "Do you know what's in that?" Like,
you're ruining my world.
Yeah. So that was, but it's weird how I go from that. Like I would just swing, and maybe if I was more committed, I would have gotten a science degree earlier. But,
well, whatever. I mean, I still need to go back and get a few other degrees before I can really call myself a professional. But
my trauma started. I wanted to go to space camp in Alabama, and I was denied the week-long space camp because it was too expensive.
No child should be denied space camp.
Correct.
That's
even though my grandma wanted to pay for it. Also, here, check out this table I found.
That's beautiful. Oh my God, that's a huge piece of petrified
Look at the stuff in the background.
Oh my God, that's all petrified wood. Holy shit.
Yeah, it looks like I guess that's all they do.
He's sitting on a piece too, and the piece right behind him, although there's actual wood behind him. But yeah, those are gorgeous. Cool. Sorry, it's like I'm
petrified wood table. It's very expensive.
Yes. Yeah. So one of the places that we stayed in Colorado, they had an entire petrified wood table with seats around it. And I was like, how much would it be to convince you to give me one of those seats? And they were like, somewhere around $7,000. And I was like, how much would it be to give me a chip off of one of those seats?
I'd be like, what time do you leave today? When do you guys close?
When are you closed?
Yeah.
Oh yeah, I'm leaving tomorrow.
Let's bring in your best friend.
Noah's Ark true? Prove it. Okay, I'm going to do it geologically. If Noah's Ark is true, and that 371 days of intense geological upheaval is true as well, then rock should be able to form quickly. I'm going to show you 3 proofs that it can. If you were to go to Karlovy Vary, Czechoslovakia, and put a rose in their mineral bath, you would get a stone rose.
So what's he talking about here?
He's literally talking about an aragonite rose. That's the hot springs that he's talking about. Well, I don't know specifically, but I would assume that area has aragonite and well, more aragonite than calcite. And he's talking about hot springs where, just sulfur bubbles up to the surface. There's it's a natural geologic occurrence. But yeah, he's discussing like he's trying
We're
to
going back to
okay,
the we can make rocks real fast argument.
Yeah, that's basically what he's doing, which again is useless because it's not going to do anything.
Oh, and then the Coke bottle, of course.
Oh yeah,
Put
that's
it under
stupid.
their calcite bath.
Yeah, in
This
a
is what
calcite bath. So that's calcification. It's very simple.
So
Also happens rather quickly. Have you ever had a kidney stone?
So calcium is a is a mineral?
Yeah.
Okay.
And it's natural and it's in our body. If you've ever had a kidney stone, your teeth, there's a lot of this stuff in your teeth. I had a tonsil stone a few years back, and yeah, it's just calcite. And obviously if you're only like 20 years old, then that stone can be made within 20 years.
Yeah.
Or less.
I just like how confident he thinks he's doing something in this video.
He's a very confident person for no apparent reason.
In California by the ocean, buried in the side of a cliff while they were looking for 9-million-year-old whale bones.
Who was talking about 9-million-year-old whale? I think he would be
I think he's right about they might have been looking for 9-million-year-old whale bones because that's a possibility. But what he found is
a champion spark plug encased in some kind of conglomerate.
It's an iron conglomerate because ionization happens because iron can be soluble in water and it can then evaporate, causing an iron concretion.
It's interesting. Do you think he's ever actually spoken with a geologist about this?
Oh, I guarantee you he just doesn't listen. Oh, and I'm not the only one that's debunked in the bunch. Oh yeah, this one's fun. Hold on. Let me get my miniature samples here.
So those of you that like, they're saying that humans are in Kentucky. Somehow this rock proves that
the rock is 100 million years old. He's talking about a rock that is, I think, from the Ordovician. I'd have to double check. I really don't know. I don't trust any of his numbers. But he's talking about a rock that looks kind of like this, right?
Uh-huh.
Yeah, it just looks pretty much exactly like this. Yeah.
Right.
It's limestone and chert. These are limestone nodules. These happen naturally and easily from like rodent burrows. I don't know if we can see if we can zoom in on this a little bit, but you can kind of see the structures up and down, and like you can see these little line passages. That's where mud would get stuck, and it would cause it would get really, really dense, and then you can technically flint knap it. Here's some crystallization. That's calcification. But these are naturally occurring rodent or insect burrows that were buried under hundreds of feet of other rock sediment and petrified. And that's what he's holding there. I like to joke. I'm like, well, there's this really cool little hole here. It looks to be about, it's like it's got a little bridge, but at the same time, like, even though you can see through this, you're like, there's no human fingerprints on this. That's not possible. But what he's trying to prove is that there's a footprint there. Well, no, it's just something that looks like a foot.
Got you. So
totally.
Yeah. Which is gonna happen. What was the one? Have you seen the one? Well, see, there's another footprint one too. I couldn't find that one though, but
well, I can tell you that humans, okay, so let's get into the psychology of humans.
Okay.
Humans are naturally we naturally put patterns to things. We like to put faces on things. We personify everything. You can just look at Roman or any Romance language. They like to put genders to different constructs. But like we always say, we can say things like, "Oh, look at that rock. It looks like a happy rock," right? Or of course I'm saying rock, but like I have a happy camera or I have an upset camera. Or if you've ever looked at a plug-in socket, you'll see like a little face there. Those types of patterns are completely natural as far as our mind it constructs it so that we don't feel lonely at any point in time. But I like to always say, if anyone understands the Castaway thing, the Castaway movie, with Tom Hanks and how he personified Wilson. Wilson was a volleyball, but Wilson became a person because we needed him to, because he was so lonely. But in the personification of things, you can absolutely make mistakes by thinking something is something that it's not. The simplest answer is rodent burrows, but
We do this all the time.
yeah, we freaking do it all the time. Hot
So
springs are disgusting breeding grounds for bacteria. Yes.
Aren't
And no,
humans a
but
disgusting
also yes.
breeding ground for bacteria?
We are disgusting human breeding grounds for bacteria. This rock is actually rather sanitary.
Are hot springs dangerous for bacteria?
It depends. Like I wouldn't recommend, in fact, I don't recommend anyone ever going to Yellowstone and, sitting in any of the hot springs there because there's sulfur. There's a lot of sulfur.
Sulfur has a very distinct odor, which
it smells like rotten eggs. If it smells like rotten eggs, don't get in it.
Yeah.
Did you hear about that one guy that decided to like deep fry a chicken there? Like he literally boiled his chicken. Yeah, in the one of the lakes at Yellowstone. He's on the news. I don't know if he ate it or anything, but he did it, and like park rangers caught him, and he was in trouble. Wilson equals Jesus. Yes. Wilson.
I was at a different camp because I didn't go to a space camp. So I was in summer camp in Florida, and the camp that we were at actually used some sort of sulfur to purify their water. Yeah.
Yeah. So sulfur can act as a base. Is an acid or a base? Oh God, this is getting back into like the early stuff. I don't remember. Sulfur, I think it should be an acid.
All I know is when you took a shower, it made your skin feel weird and it smelled bad. And you
didn't. Ever heard of soft water?
Yes.
Okay. Same sort of thing applies. Yeah, Texas does this a lot. They make their water softer.
Well, I noticed
here in Missouri we have like limestone naturally, so we have hard water. So
in Georgia we have pretty soft water. In Colorado we had really, really hard water. Mm-hmm. And at the time I was working for an appliance dealer, and the number of failures in washing machines was staggering from hard water. What did someone say?
It said blend, do not mix. Yeah, you're right. Just blend. Don't just. That's no. That's a bad idea.
So let's see. I think we went through all the videos, but I have a surprise video.
Uh-oh.
Dun, 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 dun. That one.
Someone explain to me why there's a door right here, please.
Oh, I know the answer to that. So the sculptor who, designed Mount Rushmore, Gutzon Borglum. He had a vision to do more than just the four heads.
So I actually have seen the tunnel itself.
Yeah, have you?
Not.
So I haven't actually been up there, so no. I need. Tell me about it.
It goes up about maybe 100 feet and then just dead ends.
Yeah, that's exactly it. It's just a chamber. It's just a big old chamber.
Yeah.
They wanted to build it like into a 2-story thing where it would go up and beyond and then go down and then into like zigzag into the heads. But he'd already started the chamber. And to all the people that commented on that video saying that he wanted to build like the whole bodies, no, he wanted to build the torso. He wanted to build from like here up.
Yeah.
But the government was like, focus on the heads.
Yeah, because they were like, we're not going to pay this dude anymore after this is done. Like,
well, Gutzon Borglum was kind of a nut job. So, like not even like a little bit. Like he was really a nut job. Think like, he was crazy. He was really interesting, but really crazy. Yeah, it's just kind of funny that video went viral. like yesterday.
Yeah, it's been popping. Which, by the way, if you guys want to find her, she is on TikTok. You can find her on TikTok and watch.
I am Natty Nat on TikTok. Yeah. No anything extra, just Natty Nat.
Yeah, just like this, just like on the screen, right?
Yeah.
And so, well, I was the video I watched that was something. There's also like before you walk in, there's like they had already smoothed a rock. It's like slanted to put a plaque on it. It was the idea before you entered and have that there. And then you could see like where they were building the stairs on the inside. But what's really interesting, I mean, obviously they stopped right in the middle of it being done. So there were still tools stuck in the rock. There were still, you could see like individual holes that were being drilled in order to put the
that's so cool.
in. Yeah. So it's pretty interesting. Obviously it's off limits for the average person. I'll have to find that video wherever.
So how did you get there?
I didn't get there. I just saw videos of this.
Oh, I thought you said that you'd gone up and into
No,
the.
I haven't
Oh,
been
okay.
here. I've never left my
I was
house.
gonna say.
I think it was something on YouTube because I get most of my. I stopped watching. I stopped watching History Channel. I've kind of stopped watching a lot of the
That's a good
Discovery
idea.
Network. Like it's when I was a kid, Discovery Network and History Channel were modern marvels. You know, like that kind of stuff. Not
Modern
Pawn
Marvels, How It's Made.
Yeah. Any of
What
those.
is those other ones? Well, Mythbusters was on Discovery
Mythbusters,
for
yeah,
the
so
longest time.
much more
Freaking love
science
them.
involved.
Yeah.
Now it's like, let's go find sharks and trade, you know, we're gonna go look
So-
in storage containers.
Yeah, Shark Week has turned into that. Shark Week's like the only time Discovery Channel goes back to being scientific in any way, shape, or form. But every year they bring out a video or a document. It's a mockumentary of something that is incredulous and unbelievable because it is absolutely not believable. Like that megalodon. I can't tell you how many times I've had to explain to family members, let alone the casual public, that megalodon documentary was not real.
Wait, hold on. What is this about?
Jeff ignored my clear and circumspect question. This is embarrassing.
Okay, hold on.
What
This
question?
one?
Should probably.
Yes. So we're moving on. And I don't even want to try. What is the basis for the essential property? Okay, basis for the essential property of the ultimate foundational grounding, instantation, presupposed possibilities of the impossible. Okay.
Why do I feel like he used a thesaurus just to sound smarter?
No, this is an actual question.
No, it is. It is.
Yeah.
It just seems like, there's a few words that you could have just simplified, but it's interesting.
Impossible.
This is all you, man.
Yeah, I don't know. I don't know, man. That was a lot to type though, so that's why you wanted me to do it. I get.
Yeah, I get it. There's a lot of effort that went into that question. Way to go. Bravo. Gold star.
I don't know, man.
I don't know, man.
That's a hard one. That sounds like a question somebody asked earlier in a chat.
Aunt Jer. Yeah. The mermaid mockumentary. That was Discovery Channel during Shark Week one year. And then the following year they did another a second or part 2, I guess. So that was, Ancient Aliens is my bane. Is the bane of my existence. Ancient Aliens is awful. What did we call him? Lightning Hair? Aliens. Yeah, that guy. We meaning Archeo Wolf and myself make fun of him constantly. I don't know if any of you guys follow Archeo Wolf, but he is fabulous. He is an archaeologist that's on TikTok. He has like 300 plus followers. He's a lot more popular than I am, but I'm like the guy behind the chair. Well, he and I talk about the geology, and then the answer is 42. It always is and always will be. It's Dr. Josh.
Dr. Josh, I got a live one for you next week.
Ooh.
Jeff looks like that guy sometimes. Yeah, aliens.
Aliens.
Yeah, Dr. Josh, quit showing off using your big doctor words.
It's not that it's like incomprehensible. It's simply
it takes too much effort.
Irrelevant to what we were talking about.
So let's see. So it's 5 till the hour. We'll take some questions and answers here.
Yeah.
And then I'm going to open up the phone lines. So those of you that are watching on TikTok or watching on YouTube or watching on Facebook, the phone number, let me put the banner up. Unless, there it is. There's the phone number. So get your phones ready. Not yet, but in about 5 minutes, we'll start taking some phone calls. You can ask us about stuff and things, and then we can give you answers about.
Oh man, I love stuff and things.
Yeah, we didn't really get into evolution.
No, we didn't. But I think it's partly because of the videos you picked.
Yeah, maybe. Well, and I don't. That's another topic for another day. Maybe we'll do another show in a couple weeks, and I'll find some videos about evolution.
It's a big topic. It's huge.
Evolution's one I've so there's been a few that I've waffled on in the past, and the one that I've waffled on hardest is GMOs. But the waffling on evolution was more of I was too young to really understand.
Yeah.
Whereas GMOs was more of a ethical question.
Yes. And GMOs is absolutely ethical. Yeah. It also follows GMOs and geology. Well, GMOs and biology are very interesting in that they almost mimic natural selection, but also mankind selection. What is whatever the hell that's called. It's purposeful. So, but using GMOs in a lab sense of changing DNA and altering it manually rather than through breeding can be ethically unsound, depending on what you're doing it with. Did you see that there's this guy on TikTok that talks about how he made his chicken and his pigeon like into like merged?
Wait, what?
I don't know. I saw it the other day, and this guy was breeding
interbreeding pigeons.
He's breeding chickens and pigeons into like with each other, but it was by fertilizing the chicken eggs with pigeon. But I don't think they have the same number of chromosomes, so I don't think it's real. But I haven't done any research on it. It just kind of popped up like one late night scrolling, and I saw it, and I was like, "What the hell is this?"
So for those of you, if you want to call in, here's what you need to do. Text that number below with your name, and I will call you and put you on the show. That's how it's going to work. So if you want to call in, there's the number. Well, number here for you guys, number here for you guys. 678-506-5108. Text the number and I will call you.
Let's do the evolution of waffles.
Well, you know
well, we could do that. We could actually. I could talk about the evolution of waffles. I actually know a fair amount about that.
About
oddly
waffles?
enough. Yeah.
All right.
I mean, no, we don't have to. I was just going to say, like, the reason why flapjacks exist is because back in...
It was an ice cream vendor, wasn't it?
Well, not exactly. I mean, yes. So the ice cream vendor helped make the cones for ice cream. Yeah.
Sure.
But initially it was pancakes that he couldn't figure out how to harden and make thin enough to actually like hold ice cream.
Sure.
So he turned it into like the waffle iron because he saw plaid kilts and was like, oh, what if we do the crisscross? But yeah, like flapjacks go all the way back to the time of, you know, how the West was won and all that stuff, because it was easier to make flapjacks in the morning than it was to bake bread because they were out in the range. They didn't have an oven to work with. So they would just, you know, pour dough on a pan, flip it and call it good.
What is your most prized geologic possession?
Oh, I have a few. Well, one is not here. One is in storage.
Okay.
Because it's massive and like it's almost 300 pounds. It is a piece of marble and gneiss that's divided by the center, and then the marble inside the marble there are garnets lining it, and they're like of gem. It's freaking gorgeous. I got it in New Zealand. I loved it.
What is the most robust, common geological evidence claim for Jesus Bible characters? I would say the one that's most commonly claimed is that this place in the Bible exists, therefore what happened in the Bible is true.
That makes sense. Yeah,
that's their go-to.
I have a few friends.
Exists, therefore he split the Red Sea, or something like that.
Yeah, I have a friend that did a dig at Tel Aviv or near Tel Aviv, and she's an archaeologist. So she did a dig in Tel Aviv, and she's done this multiple years. She goes back. She's focuses on archaeology in that area. I can't claim to know very much about it, but one of the digs she did was a city-state structure that was up on a mountain that was overlooking a flat plain that a few of the people that were with her discussed that there could have been some events that happened there. Things like the whatever Goliath. The
giants.
Not the giants, but
David and Goliath.
Joseph and Goliath, the one that like hits the rock on his head. And what? Who?
David and Goliath.
That's it. David and Goliath. Yeah. See, you can tell how much I've actually retained from when I did get confirmed. I did tests and I preached and did all sorts of stuff.
You had to sign a book.
But yeah, no, I have a book with my name written. I have a Bible with my name etched into it and all sorts of stuff. But yeah, it doesn't mean jack to me anymore because like I left the church at 14 and never looked back.
Lucky.
I had to fight hard. There's a lot behind that, but mostly I had to embarrass my mom so much she didn't want to be seen with me.
Oh yeah, the Mount Sinai thing. That's another one where they're like, yeah, look, the top of this mountain is scorched, therefore this thing happened. But I think a lot of times when you look at folklore too of mythology, there's question and then there's answer, and the question came before the answer. So the mountain being the question, how did this happen? The answer that was given was the Moses story. It's not a confirmation of the original event. That's how they explained it to
every culture does that.
Yeah.
So every culture has creationist stories and every culture has explanation stories. You can, and they vary in multiple ways, but everybody has a reason why the sun's up and a reason why the moon comes up. They have a reason why there's different seasons, or in like the around the equinox or the equator, there's a reason why it's like a monsoon season versus a dry season.
Yeah, but see, this is the other one. Mount Sinai in relation to the split rock and the basin for the 12 tribes in proximity. So yeah, I mean, it's obvious that they could be using those things to build their story and build their story around what they have around them.
She said Joseph and Goliath because she's trying to get excommunicated. I was never Catholic.
Yeah,
but that's okay. Nice try.
How do I get excommunicated? I don't know if they do that anymore.
I mean, Madonna got excommunicated. Woo!
How do I get excommunicated?
I don't know, but she like dressed up like a sexy nun in one of her videos, and the Pope was like, "And you're out."
So I am on the terrorist watch list in Malaysia.
Wow.
So I can no longer. Well, not like I was going to go there anyway. I can't go to Malaysia.
Oh, that's unfortunate. I really want to go to Malaysia.
Well,
now I've been seeing it in a video with you.
They go a little crazy. They go a little hard in Indonesia.
There's some really interesting fossils in Malaysia.
Yeah.
That's what I'm interested in. They have dinosaurs.
Yeah. So you didn't find any dinosaur bones in Colorado?
I didn't actually go to Dinosaur Park, and I couldn't really hike very much. So unfortunately, I didn't do a whole lot of that. In fact, like walking for more than an hour, it hurts like a lot. So I did a lot of walking downtown, and like stopped at like every mineral store I could, because the locals always have some interesting bits and pieces. But yeah, for the most part, every time we were driving up an incline or some form of cutout was available, if there was gravel on the opposite side of the road, which is pretty common in Colorado, I would yell at my mother to stop because she was driving, and she would just stop and let me go look at rocks.
So there's a park there called Roxborough State Park.
I know what you're talking about. Yeah.
Here's a picture. It's got these really cool formations. What causes it? Almost looks like something was tilted on end.
That's pretty much what could have happened. I actually don't know a whole lot about that, but what could have happened is a seismic event caused a huge slab of sandstone to just tilt up because something else was pushing it up and out. We didn't talk about the size. We didn't talk about that one video. The guy that discussed the water, how the oceans they discovered.
Oh yeah, hold on, I'll pull that one up.
Yeah,
that was this guy.
That one's a long discussion, but
promise is a promise, and this has been bothering me that I didn't get to this. So here we go. Has anyone ever asked you, where did the water from the flood come from, and where did it go? Well, the Bible says something about the fountains of the great deep being broken up. And interestingly enough, in recent years, science has discovered something. In the transition zone between the upper and lower mantle, oceans worth of water have been found. Much of this water, to put it simply, has been absorbed into hydrous minerals such as wadsleyite and ringwoodite, which happens to be the main components of the transition zone. So how did all the water from the flood recede back into the earth? Well, one possible explanation is subduction zones, which are all over the world underneath the oceans, where two tectonic plates collide and one goes under the other, creating a pathway of sorts. If you add up all the speculated water amounts, it's 5 times all of our ocean water combined.
Okay, so I wanted to talk about that one because he's using real geologic systems to explain something that's not actually accurate. So what was discovered was that there's water underneath some of these subduction zones. That's not hugely crazy. You find blue schist and green schist in those areas, and that can only happen at that very edge, the pinch of a subduction zone, where where water and the rock and lava are all being pushed down underneath another continental shelf. What he's talking about, having these oceans of water underneath there, is it's a weird thing we're discussing at the moment, but it's not accurate that it's water. It's that the water is mostly evaporated in there. It's almost like it's a lubricant, like an oil, that is helping move the plates underneath at an easier rate. But it's not unheard of that we've had multiple plates come down, and then because of the density or the buoyancy of a certain type, they may fold over and then continue so then you end up with this like trapped bubble of water. Or
hot down there though.
Yeah, it's really freaking hot, but the water doesn't have a place to escape. So it's constant. It's almost like a little what does it call them? The terrariums. It's almost like a little terrarium, which people are like, "Oh my gosh, King Kong could live under there." No. That's
It's
not what I'm saying.
300 degrees Celsius or something, or is it?
Upwards of that. Yeah.
Hot.
But what's happening is that crust is folding in on itself, trapping water, and you're probably going to end up with some of those whatever they're called, the quartz that we just talked about, the
water quartz.
Yeah, the water quartz.
The in water quartz. I don't remember.
Yeah, it's in water, but like in Latin. So it's
in water.
In hydro. In water quartz.
Was it in hydro?
In hydro, yeah.
In hydro.
I was like, what the hell are they called?
So the so with the water that he's claiming, there's 5 times the water.
No.
Yeah. No.
No.
So where did the water come from for the flood then?
What flood?
Yeah, the worldwide flood. The book said so.
Oh, the book said so.
What would you expect to find if there was such an event as described in the Bible? Like, what would the earth look like? Not dealing with the water issue.
Okay, not dealing with the water receding or anything.
No, not. We don't have to figure out where the water came from and where it went.
See, but the problem is, what was the elevation of the land where Jesus, or where I guess Noah was, where it flooded? Because if the elevation was low enough, then the worldwide flood would only flood that area, but not mountains.
Well, we're saying that the world was flooded.
The whole world.
The whole world was flooded. What would you expect?
It's not possible.
I know it's not possible. But,
it's not possible.
But what evidence would you expect to see? So, like in the
uniform. Okay, so you would find at least one layer of rock closer to the surface where people have been around for the last. So this is going to be basically the surface bedrock layer will be scattered with all of the same foraminifera. You would find the same microscopic benthic and planktic organisms that have dried up and lived there. You would find a uniform distribution of these little shell creatures, like any sort of water-dwelling creature that is easily moved and easily bred or reproduced. So the benthic and planktic waters would be the big one. Hold on. I am being summoned. Give me a split second.
Yeah, go ahead. I'll take over. So, guys, the phone number 678-506. I see you arguing in the comments. What you need to do is call in 678-506-5108. You can call in and ask a question from a real live geologist that exists right in front of you. So, you know who I'm talking about. You need to call in and ask your questions so that you can get answers here.
Hey, sorry, I'm back.
You're back. Anyway,
I'm back.
I was told
that
if there was a worldwide flood, we would see Grand Canyons all over the planet. From the runoff.
You would see canyons, but you would see canyons that would have eroded in a softer way, not in a direct.
We have a phone call.
What?
Hello.
Hey.
What's going on?
Nothing much. Just got off work.
Nice. Do you have a good question for Natalie?
Let's see. Any topic or
About geology, the flood, the worldwide flood,
Oh yeah.
Crystals. Anything?
crystals. Yeah. Anything you've seen on TikTok recently that's kind of weird about crystals? TikTok crystals.
The only weird thing about this new thing on TikTok is they're saying that all these fuel prices are for what do they say? Are God's plan
to increase fuel prices.
Yeah.
I hate to blow it, but the increase in fuel prices lately has been due to that colonial pipeline problem.
I bet you they kept their passwords in a Word document. How much you want to
Yeah, it wouldn't surprise me at all. I was going to say, like, they have to shut down the whole, they have to turn the whole thing off and on again, and then they have to reboot all their passwords. So now it's not going to be password, it's going to be password 1.
Yeah. Well, cool.
Yeah, it's crazy that people are putting it in Tupperware, garbage bags.
Oh, you're talking about the gas canisters. Yeah, there's this one TikTok of a guy that like drained his pool and decided to put all the gas into his pool.
Why would you do that?
It's going to evaporate.
It's not like it's going to get water in it, and you're going to get water in your. I mean, you're going to get all kinds of contaminants.
I don't know because people are insane.
Oh my god.
Yeah. No.
This is
okay.
why I can't find gas, and I sold my car on Saturday.
Oh.
And I'm going electric. I'm going electric.
Going electric. I like it.
And but the problem is I can't find a new. I don't want a Tesla, and I know I'm going to be crucified for that, but I don't want a Tesla.
You can get
I'm not a
Audi
car person.
There's an electric Audi.
80
that's
grand. I don't know
good.
how much money you think I have.
I'm just saying the electric Audi is pretty good.
Oh, I'm sure it is. If I'm going to spend that much money, I'm getting the Porsche. Get the Audi.
Is there an electric Porsche?
Yeah, there is. It's the Taycan. It's like $210,000.
Oh, I didn't know that. I wasn't paying attention to.
Yeah, you can use your geology money on that one.
No, I can't. What geology money? I work in CRM, man. That's not where you make the money. I don't work in oil.
Yeah, that's right. You got to go to oil. That was in Colorado. All the jobs were in shale and oil.
Yep.
We'll call her.
Did you block you again, Damon?
No, I haven't seen Andy. Andy has blocked me from all forms of social media.
Womp womp.
Yes. But hey, I'm going to go and I got another call coming in, so let me grab it.
All right.
Thanks.
Let's see. This is one that I missed, so I'll call them back.
Okay.
Hello? Oh, they hung up on me. Those dicks. Anyway,
Rude.
so I sold. It's not necessarily. Oh wait.
Oh, here they come. Just kidding.
Hello. Hello, caller.
You've reached Natty Nat and Jeff the Atheist Troll.
Yeah, what's up? Can you talk? Okay. Well, I'll move on.
And they're gone.
I struggle with this moral issue when it comes to existing on this planet because, and here's like the global warming thing. Like it blows my mind because my parents are deniers.
Oh yeah, no, I understand.
I asked my dad, like, what do you do when you wake up in the morning? I wake up. Cool. Are you in a house? Yes. Do you own a car? Do you use electricity? Do you exist? Do you, like everything that a human does throughout the day causes heat.
Mm-hmm.
Everything. So it's not hard to think that there's a lot of people and a lot of people cause heat.
Yeah.
And all of the things that we do.
Corporations more so than people, but go on.
Yeah. And all of the things that we do cause greenhouse gas emissions, which also compound the problem.
Mm-hmm.
And we can see in history, because of our thing that we talked about earlier, ice cores, that this is not the first
stalagmites floating tree lines, and also like modern trees also record it, so it doesn't have to be petrified for us to know.
This is not the first time we've had a big issue.
Are they trying to come back?
Hello?
I just want to say I'm a huge fan of the show. I love the show, dude.
Oh, thanks.
You're my favorite troll ever, and your co-host today is so beautiful. So cool to see a secular humanist
Thanks.
lady up there that's just killing it. She's just the best, and she's so much more smarter than you as well. Even though you're my favorite troll ever.
I love you, caller.
Oh yeah. And the freak that's in the chat right now, he texted me earlier and said he's a massive crush on you, Jeff.
Oh,
He
yeah.
wants to be a troll.
That makes sense.
I had to block him from messaging me. I guess he's now found my YouTube.
Oh my.
Yeah. He said when he grows up, he wants to be an atheist troll just like you.
Yeah.
Well,
We all do.
everyone wants to be an atheist troll at some point in their lives.
I love you guys. I just want to let you know you're my favorite guys ever. Much better than Oz and Nate.
Well, thanks for the call, anonymous caller.
Yep, love you.
Bye. Yeah, that's a nice guy. Ask her why we find seashells in Arizona. Can I take this one?
I mean, you can. Yeah, I'll correct you if you're wrong.
There used to be an ocean there.
You are correct.
Okay.
I don't remember what age. I think Devonian, but yeah. Theo has a question for me. He says,
let me
you
find
can pop it up.
Is it? Oh, there. This one?
The fossil fuel one. Yeah. So it says if fossil fuels are coming from organic material compressed, or in the short and long term of it, then how come other planets have large amounts of methane deposits? Well, methane is a natural compound that occurs in nature, both on Earth and other planets. That doesn't have to have anything to do with organic compounds. The reason why we use fossil fuel itself, though, is a type of gas. It's it has a carbon compound that has polymers in it that can actually create fuel for us. There's a difference between methane by itself and organic methane. There is, that's pretty much the short answer for it. If you want to get the long answer, there are a bunch of YouTube clips that I can direct you towards to understand why CH4 versus CH4 organic is different. There's salt and salt flats, huh? Crazy. Yeah. No, go figure.
Rants. It's a great show. Everyone needs to sign up for Black Atheist Rants. Give him a like and a follow. He's got a great show going on, and I appreciate that. And I actually got a recent call. Well, I wouldn't say call. I got a message from a guy in Florida. Oh, well, let's take. All right. Hello. Thanks for calling.
Hello, atheist troll.
Hey, how are you?
I am wonderful. How are you?
I'm doing great. You have a question for me, Annette?
Yes, I do. I am a Muslim, and I want to see if you guys can make me atheist.
I don't think that's going to be the goal, but go ahead.
I don't know if I can help with that.
Try you what?
Try to make me atheist. Prove to me my religion is wrong. You call him a pedo. Prove it.
I didn't call him a pedo.
Yeah, yes, you did. Yes, you did.
When?
Yeah, I have multiple videos of you calling him.
You have videos? Are you like recording me?
Yeah, pretty much.
Okay, so do you believe in objective or subjective morality?
Do I believe in what?
Is morality objective or subjective?
Objective or subjective?
Yes, morality.
Define your definition of both of those words.
Okay, so objective morality would mean that something is wrong no matter what the conditions are. So like, let's say murdering an infant. I believe that it is objectively wrong to murder an infant. There's no good reason to murder an infant. No matter what the purpose, murdering an infant is wrong. Subjective would mean that in some certain situations, it's okay to murder an infant. It's not necessarily always wrong. It could be wrong depending on the situation.
Murdering an infidel or an infant?
Infant, like a child.
Infant, like a child.
Yes.
I don't. In Islam, the Prophet commands us in war: do not kill the elderly or children.
Okay, cool. So what I'm just saying for you, you would say that it's wrong to kill an infant.
Yes.
Is there any good reason to kill an infant?
What?
Is there a good reason to kill an infant?
No.
So you would say if you kill infants, you're probably an evil thing.
Without context, yes.
Well, okay. So what context is it okay to kill an infant?
For example, U.S. Army in Afghanistan, children soldiers.
So it's okay to kill infants. There's infant soldiers?
Infants. I mean, you don't know how an infant could be used as a soldier, maybe a bomb. You know?
So you're saying it's okay in certain situations to murder infants?
It really depends on context. Maybe the infant is going through tremendous pain that cannot be helped.
So it's a mercy killing.
So you're mercy killing infants. That is okay.
No, I'm not saying it is okay. I'm saying it might be okay. Maybe.
So it's
depends.
subjective.
Really
So
depends.
what you're saying is that there are conditions in which killing an infant is okay.
An infant, I don't know. The infant subject, it's kind of touchy, but a child, yes.
Well, no, we're talking about like a newborn baby.
Okay, no. Okay, let's say I said no.
Okay, so it's not okay to kill a newborn baby under any circumstances.
No.
And you would say that if someone or something were to kill a newborn baby, that would be an evil act.
It might be, yeah.
Well,
for example, when Abraham was about to kill Isaac,
no, Isaac isn't an infant. We're talking about a newborn baby.
No. Okay, newborn baby.
Yes.
All right, tell me where this goes.
Cool. Well, I'm just trying to understand your morality here. So you're saying that under no circumstances.
No, an infant, no.
Okay, so there's no reason to kill a newborn baby.
Nope.
And if you kill an unborn baby or newborn baby, you're an evil. That'd be an evil act. It'd be a bad thing. Yes.
Yes, I believe.
Cool. Your God killed babies. He's evil.
My God killed babies.
Yes.
Is that so?
Yes.
Evidence.
Exodus.
Sources. Exodus. I don't believe in Exodus.
You don't believe that Moses was in Egypt? You don't believe that they were held captive?
I Moses was in Egypt.
That's Exodus.
That's an Exodus.
It's called the Exodus. Not the book Exodus in the Bible, but the firstborns were killed, including infants. So your God chose to kill infants, and this is who you worship.
Yes, I still worship God.
Sure. So you're just now changing, your morality based on whatever fits the topic. Because earlier you said that if you kill infants, they're evil.
Not really.
Now your God can kill infants.
In the Quran, we believe like a child who was not directed towards Islam and he has died, he goes to heaven. That way, God just brought him up to heaven.
So it's okay to. So if I take an infant and drown them, and then resuscitate them, does that negate the drowning?
No, it doesn't. Well,
okay, so your God chose to kill babies in Egypt.
Well, you don't know if he actually killed them. Maybe he lifted them before up to heaven. He lifted them up to the gate.
Okay, so what about the worldwide flood?
Worldwide flood?
Yeah.
Same thing. Lifted up to heaven.
So they didn't drown.
You don't know.
Okay, and how do you know this?
Nope. And how do I know this? Because God's merciful.
That's not evidence. The book says he killed children.
Evidence. All right, but you deny the worldwide drought.
Yes, there were no worldwide drugs.
I said drought.
Drought?
Drugs,
Oh, okay. I don't know what happened there.
That was an interesting exit.
Right? Oh,
wow.
I'm going through a tunnel.
Yeah, I'm losing signal.
I'm sorry.
Let's all call the Atheist Trolls show and try and troll him and get completely destroyed.
That kid couldn't have been more than like 15 years.
Yeah,
there's no way.
You're
killing me, Smalls.
Yeah. So yeah, I don't know if the moral high ground is always usually an easy one to go about with that argument. I will notice that he's young, so I wasn't going to go the Quran route because there's an easier with it. But I don't think I really ever called Muhammad a pedophile. I think other people do enough of that for me.
Right? There's enough people out there.
I don't need to do that. I mean, pedophilia would have required prepubescent Aisha, and I don't know the status of her at the time. So,
and I can honestly say this is way out of my league when it comes to like
allegedly in some hadith it says that she was 6 when she was married and 9 when she was consummated.
Well, if you want to talk about that kind of thing, there are anthropologists out there that have discussed another rather famous anthropologist who studied the Yanomamo down in Arizona, not in Arizona, in the Amazon.
This is an unknown caller.
Oh boy.
Hello. What's up?
Hello?
Yeah, what's up?
Hey, how you doing?
Doing great.
You actually picked up. That's surprising. The name that you picked up. Yeah, that's cool.
Yeah, what's up?
Yeah, what's up, man? How are you?
I'm doing great.
First of all, I'm a huge fan. I love
Oh,
the
thanks.
content. It's comedic to me. I'm a Muslim.
Okay.
But I was wanting to just have a conversation with you to see, kind of what your mindset is in a conversation, not just in videos.
Sure. Yeah. What do you want to know?
Just first of all, I get like these glimpses of what you think about Islam, right? I get that you think it promotes violence.
Well, no, we can just go back to the very beginning of Islam and just start with Muhammad was visited by an angel.
Okay.
If we can somehow prove that Muhammad was visited by an angel and that this message is from a God, then I don't need to get into the rest of it. You can just do that part and we're done.
Mm-hmm. Okay, so the thing is, when you go into that, like, can you prove that Muhammad was visited by an angel?
Yes.
Can we prove in reality? Can we actually prove that any of us aren't dreaming right now?
Oh, he wants to get into the philosophical part about this. Oh man!
But how does that prove that Muhammad was visited by an angel? You believe? So let me put it this way: you believe that he was visited by an angel? Yes.
No. Let me finish.
Okay.
Let me finish my point.
Okay.
Afterwards, you can talk. My point is, okay, the question you're asking it by itself, was Muhammad visited by an angel? Okay? I can't just say that, yes, he was visited by an angel, and I can prove it. You'll say, okay, how are you going to prove it? I'm going to say, look at the book. Look at the linguistic miracles. Look at this. And you're like, okay, well, that's not proof. That's going to be your rebuttal. Okay? What I'm saying is, that's something like, your question itself isn't something that, like, it's the same as asking. To me, it's the same as asking, are we living in a dream? Because the thing is, it's impossible for anybody to prove anything like that. Because he was a prophet. Okay, he's a prophet. The things he saw, we couldn't see. If he saw an angel,
but you're just asserting that he was a prophet.
Where the assumptions are made
with circular logic.
Which of course, there's logic. It's not circular though. The assumptions are made based off of this. Okay.
So you're saying but you're saying the story is true because the story said it's true.
No.
Okay, so then how do I know from an external standpoint? How do I know that Muhammad was visited by an angel and not an extraterrestrial that's from a more advanced species that came down and gave him that information and he thought it was an angel?
All right. So the thing is, first of all, let's just go to him being a prophet. So how would you say he's a prophet? I would say he's a prophet by, first of all, just looking at his life before his prophethood. Okay? Before his prophethood, he was considered by the people. Okay? You can look at any other sources. By the people as a truthful. He had a nickname. His nickname was the truthful.
Honest Abe had a nickname.
Yeah, it was Honest.
I'm sorry.
Yeah. Honest Abe.
Yeah, Honest Abe. Yeah, like that. But he was so honest that his enemies trusted him.
Could be a prophet.
And let me just finish my point.
Okay, wait. I gotta back this up a little bit. I just. Did he leave?
No, he's still here.
Oh, he's there. Sorry, I heard it. I heard a ding. I didn't know if it was okay. Sorry, you're still here. Excellent. I need to back this up for a second because you started out with something that I thought was going to be an interesting debate, which was that how do we know we're actually here? And I want to back this up to when you were saying you were starting to lead into it's an opinion as to whether or not you believe what you believe. So are you saying that, like, how are we able to argue an opinion that's personal to you?
So the thing is, okay, when it comes to it, even like the most hardcore facts, right? Not like facts, but taking a hardcore theory have like opposite sides to them. Everybody has like
like flat Earth to round Earth.
Sorry,
all this, you know what I mean, okay?
Right, can you give me one undisputed fact from your religion?
one undisputed fact
It's a good
from
question.
my religion?
Yeah, just one.
In what sense do you mean? Like a scientific
Like
fact? Do
all-
you mean-
Yeah, no, scientifically, archaeologically, give me one undisputable fact.
So there's a surah. There's a chapter. Okay,
Mhm.
called Surah Rum, the chapter of the Romans. Okay, and it talks about I believe it talks about the Romans beating the Persians, and it says they're going to. It's a prophecy. It happened later on. So they said they're going to beat them at the lowest point, like in the area where they're where they generally used to fight. And 20 years later, they didn't lose.
But okay, so
their war ended, and it ended at the lowest point of the land, geographically, it was the lowest point.
Why?
okay, so I want to just throw this out here. So the Persians. Okay, during this time, I'm just looking at this timeline really quick. But Muhammad lived after this battle, but he prophesied it.
He prophesied it, yes.
But it happened
It was prophesied-
hundreds of years before he was
prophesied in
born.
the chapter. Yeah, it was prophesied in the chapter of the Quran, but the Quran isn't considered something to be. So for you guys aren't Muslim or not. For you guys, it's Muhammad wrote it. For me, it's Muhammad did not write it.
He
because
revealed it.
It's from God. Yeah, it was revealed to him, and it's talking to Muhammad. So normally, inside of the book, it doesn't say Muhammad says this. It says,
Why aren't you Mormon?
I'm sorry, what?
Why aren't you Mormon?
Well, first of all, I believe in
Joseph
one
Smith said that God revealed to him some truths. Why aren't you Mormon?
God. Okay, well, let me explain to you. First of all, I believe in one God.
Well, that would be the same
Well,
God.
Mormon still believes in one God.
I don't believe in trinities.
They don't have the Trinity in Mormonism.
Oh, okay, I didn't know that. Sorry, that's my bad. Go on.
Yeah, I don't believe in racism. Okay,
That's
I
true.
know
That's
they
in
have
Mormonism.
racism, right? Yes. Okay, I don't believe in racism. Islam isn't racist inherently. Muhammad's last speech, he said that no white person is better than a black person. No Arab is better than a non-Arab, except in good deeds and piety. That was his last speech. That's what he left his people with before he passed away. Okay, so that's like a.
I just don't get to the point of it being a message from God. So, in my biggest issue with most religions, this isn't just Islam, is that there's this all-powerful, all-loving, all-knowing God that loves me as an individual and wants me to go to heaven, but sent his message to a guy 1,500 years ago in a book, which God didn't even give to him himself. He sent an angel to do it, and then sent it in such a form, it's in ancient Arabic, that we can't easily understand it today. We need lots of people to understand it for me so that I can understand it. So what I don't understand is why this all-powerful, all-loving, all-knowing God can't deliver his message in a form that's not easily destroyed.
So, can I answer that, or?
Yeah, go ahead. If you've got an answer.
Oh, yeah, of course. I've had this question posed to me before. I think about it too. I think about things. I'm not somebody who I question. My religion tells me to question it. In the Quran, it tells you to question it. But that's a side note. Going back to your question. So the thing is that first of all, it doesn't take a lot to understand the Quran. It does not take a lot. If you literally take like 3 months out of your life or 2 months out of your life and take a course, a Quranic course, by the end of it,
have you done that for every other religion?
I've taken comparative religion classes.
Yeah, but there's other religions out there. There's no way that I can investigate every religion on this planet with 3 months. I've read the Quran twice. I think that's a pretty good go.
Oh, allow me to finish what I was saying. So the point is, first of all, you have to think about it in the sense that, okay, do you believe there could be a God? Okay, if you could believe there could be a God, if you actually believe that there could be an afterlife, there's a chance, a minute chance of there being an afterlife, there being a heaven or hell, or there being, I don't know.
Sure, there's a chance.
Whatever in hell. Okay, anything. Okay, then it deserves like at least a little bit of your energy to research these things.
Yeah, but but Islam isn't the only religion I have to research then.
I understand. I understand completely that Islam is not the only.
And I've read the Quran twice.
Yes, I hear you.
And it does
For
not
me,
seem
it's
to me
more-
that this book is from a god.
Well, for me, it's the question of, first of all, how do I imagine God? Okay, so I don't imagine God being like the way it is in Hinduism, where there's reincarnation in terms of God. For me, there could only be one God. That's how it makes sense to me because of
Well, why do you think it doesn't? Why doesn't it make sense to me? Like, I've put in the effort, and this God knows what would convince me, and he's not giving it to me.
What makes more sense to you? There being multiple gods or there being one God?
Multiple, actually.
Multiple would make more sense for like how much chaos there is.
Biologically, it would make sense to have multiple gods as well, because you can't have just one of one species.
But regardless of what I think,
Well, the thing is, if there's a God, he wouldn't be bound by our biological laws. He's the creator
he seems to
of
be.
biology.
He can't
He's the
deliver his
creator of
message
science.
to me in a form other than a book, which is what humans use.
Okay. Well, yeah, I was actually continuing on that. So, 2 or 3 months it takes. You can actually learn some of the Arabic. What you're saying is really difficult to understand. It literally does not take that long to understand the Quran.
So I have to learn Arabic to understand the Quran.
If you really want to dig into it, if you really, really want to dig into it.
I want to really dig. But why would God send his most dire message, the most dire message to all of humanity, in a form that is not easily understood by the population?
It is easily understood by the population.
I read it twice. I didn't get it.
Well, you probably didn't put in the effort to understand it.
What? Okay, now you're going right back to my effort isn't good enough. I'm telling you, I've read the thing twice. It's not good. It's not. It doesn't give me the vibes that it came from a god.
What are some things what made you think that it was not good?
One, the fact that it's a book written in ancient Arabic. If you've tried to read it in English, it's not very easy to understand. You got to reread sentences several times to try and figure out what they're talking about. Secondly, you still have some of the same stories that are in the Bible, so clearly he got that information from somewhere, which would have been probably Christians that he was around. So like the flood story, for example, is still in there. And it says that Noah lived to be 950 years old.
Yeah.
There's no supporting evidence for this 950 years old. There's no supporting evidence for a worldwide flood.
There's no supporting evidence for Göbekli Tepe. I don't know if you know what that is. Göbekli Tepe.
Oh, yes, there is.
What is?
Oh my God! Yes, there is. Göbekli Tepe? Are you kidding me? That is a huge trade center. Archaeologically speaking, we have so much information regarding that. You cannot. Okay, what?
I think you hit a nerve.
I'm sorry. I think I misworded it. You misunderstood. My point is, how is it there?
How is it there? Have you ever traveled over a desert? You need a stopping point to converse. Going through the desert at that point in time, or any point in time for that matter.
How old it is? Do you understand how old it is?
Yeah. Do you now?
Yes,
you
I understand. I understand how old it is. Do you understand how old the Earth is?
How old?
Do you understand?
No. How old is the Göbekli Tepe? Do you know?
Göbekli Tepe? Oh God, it goes back a few tens. I think it's 14,000. Is that right? I have to double check.
When was the wheel created?
The what? The wheel?
The wheel.
What is? Where we? I forget where we were before this.
I forget where we were before this.
What does this have to do with proving a worldwide flood and people living to be 950 years old?
Yeah, it's 12,000 years old. That's it.
12,000. Okay.
Yeah, it's from the time when we were hunting and gathering. Okay, we didn't even know agriculture. We didn't have like a proper. How could we create that? That's my point. All right.
We didn't have agriculture.
Agriculture was not a uniformed understanding. Archaeologically speaking, individual groups had invented agriculture by that point, but most of the time it was a type of horticulture or animal-based rotational grazing.
Yeah, but what the Chinese were doing have been doing rice crops for like 12,000 years.
But that's a culture by culture instance. Okay. So, but trade routes were still established back then.
950 years old.
My point is our information is very lacking. Okay?
So did Moses live to be 950 years old?
Moses did not live. It never says that. It says about Noah.
Can Muhammad tell me why Göbekli Tepe exists?
Did Noah live to be 950 years old?
I believe so.
Okay, so what supporting evidence do you have that he lived to be 950 years old?
I don't have any supporting evidence.
So then why do you believe it?
I believe it because the Quran says it.
So we're circular logic. The Quran is true because the Quran said so.
No. The Quran is true because of the Quran, but also because It's perfect.
Well, no, clearly it's not. If it's saying someone lived to be 950 years old, any adult knows that no one lives to be 950 years old. That's all I need to debunk the Quran.
The thing is, the idea of Noah, Noah as a prophet existed even before, you know, and in our faith, he existed before humanity split up. You know, before there was even like a split of the nations. The diaspora.
You talking about the language thing, the Tower of Babel?
You know, we don't believe in the Tower. Like
but you believe in the splitting of nations.
Yeah, we believe in the splitting of nation, not in the sense like we believe that his sons, one of his sons went to Africa, one of his sons went here, you know, sort of thing.
But he didn't live to be 950 years old. It's clearly wrong.
Well, the idea is that before even our modern day understanding of society, thousands of years before that he lived. So, you know, we don't have any information about him. We don't even know how humankind was archaeologically back then.
So you're saying that he could not have, you're saying that he was 950 years old, but there's no evidence of that?
No evidence of it. Yes. Then there we can't really find anything.
What if you were told that that Noah lived to be 2,000 years old? Would you still believe it?
Well, you see, the thing is,
would you?
If I just look at that question,
that's how we look at it.
Put it in the Quran. And I know now if you're asking me that, I'm going to say yes, and you're like, you would believe it. It's archaeological. That's not the only reason why I believe in the Quran. It's not about his age, man. It's about the Quran itself. Okay, first of all,
it's about what it's claiming, and it's claiming that he's that old. If it claims that it's that old and you don't believe that he's actually that old, then that means that you don't believe your Quran, which means that the Quran is wrong.
Yeah.
So
let me finish. Let me finish my point. You guys are like you're both talking. My point is this. Okay, I believe he's 950 years old. Put that aside. Okay. Now you asked me a question about 2,000 years old. If I said yes, okay, what would you say? You would say, okay. Well,
what if I told you he was 6,000 years old?
I mean,
at what point do you start doubting the Quran? Is what I'm asking.
Make him 2 million. Okay.
Yeah, exactly. If he was 2 million years old, would you believe it?
Yeah, that's the point. Let me just.
At some point, you got to be like, yeah, I think this book's kind of, yeah.
The point is the book itself. Okay, it does have some things like this that are like, you know, out of our understanding. His age, an ant talking right to the prophet.
Correct.
I think
yes, ant talking ants. Yeah.
But you know, the ant wasn't talking to anyone else. He was talking to the prophet because the prophet was given that.
Ants don't talk to people.
Ants don't talk to each other. They communicate, but they don't talk.
Yeah. They communicate with each other. Yes.
With pheromones. Yes.
Yeah.
Yes. The Solomon, in our belief, was given the power to speak.
Okay, so you believe in magic.
Ooh, magic.
I mean, it wasn't really.
It's magic. It's a fairy tale book at that point. It's magic. It's clearly magic.
But the point isn't that. Okay, so there are these miracles that exist. Okay.
Define a miracle.
Right.
Define a miracle.
Like this.
What's a miracle?
This is a miracle.
What's a definition of a miracle?
What's the definition of
a miracle? How would you define a miracle?
I would define a miracle as in sense of like something like a surprise.
Something like how you would define it personally.
I personally define miracles as happy coincidences.
Yes, happy coincidences. That's one definition of miracles.
Okay, what's yours?
I agree with that definition as well. Another definition I agree with is when these things happen. For example, when Jesus has talked about bringing the dead to life, that's a miracle to me.
Okay. Hold on. You're going to talk about bringing the dead to life, right? Isn't that necromancy? Wouldn't that be hypocritical to what the Bible claims, or what in your case the Quran claims? Sorry, the Quran. My bad. Well, isn't it like
I think we go on a lot of tangents. So
let's stick to 950-year-old people talking animals, those kinds of things.
Let's stick to the Quran, okay?
And tell me how it's not a fairy tale.
The Quran, okay? Aside from all these stories, which you're calling upon, you're calling upon Noah's story, you're calling upon Solomon's story, you're going to call upon, Moses' story, you're going to call upon Jesus' story. Aside from these stories, which do have miracles in them, they have these things which are out of our imagination, which we would consider impossible. Right? Age differences, all this. Aside from all those things, okay? Which, to believe in them, you first need to actually, first of all, believe in God. You need to believe that, okay, this book, like you need to, when you hold the book, you need to actually believe.
I believe if there is a God, he would not give a book. That's and I also don't think it'd be a
What
he.
would you think a God would be?
Well, a God would be genderless, so there wouldn't be a he or she.
Yeah, there isn't a gender for my God. But moving on.
Yes. So do they say he?
They say he.
Okay, he wouldn't have it wouldn't have pronouns, but that's because we
They
personify
wouldn't have pronouns.
Yeah. B, this thing would be able to communicate with me without the use of another human being.
Yeah, it should be able to do a direct consciousness.
Yeah, I'm reliant on another human being. Hold on, let me finish this. This is impactful. The fact that every religion requires me to submit to another human being is the problem. The fact that the Quran is given to me by a person that is an alleged version of a word from Muhammad, from another person. There's people involved. A God would be able to give me his message directly. There's no reason not to, unless you just want to be an orchestrator of evil.
Can we also discuss the fact that it seems like in these different claims throughout religions, there are multiple prophets, multiple people that have talked to God, and yet we haven't seen one in a chunk of time. Yeah, nobody. And if they do, we just call them insane at this point in time.
Exactly. Yeah.
So why?
The question is, I'm sorry, we're kind of like
go ahead.
Talking over each other.
Yeah, go ahead.
The question I have: who is Islam asking you to submit to?
What do you mean by submit?
Submitting to this guy named Muhammad.
Well, no, I guess you're submitting to Allah.
I guess there's that.
Yeah, because Muhammad's not a god.
Right.
Nowhere.
But he did go to heaven to negotiate for you about how many times to pray per day.
That's interesting. And they came up with, was that 5?
It's 5.
It
was going to be 50.
Like, holy shit.
Yeah.
I didn't know.
I feel like he was having a bad day, and they were like, "Look,
I'm learning. I'm learning things today.
Muhammad, we don't like praying this much." It's like, well, he's like, "Oh, hold on, I got you.
I got you.
Negotiated for you."
Prayer wasn't ordained, so there wasn't any like set time, set amount of prayers before that happened.
Well, we got down to 5.
You know,
I just feel like
he's a great negotiator.
Like he's a car salesman.
Yeah, he's a great negotiator.
But
these are just stories. There's stories that have been told for millennia. That I don't think that these stories came from a god. I think they came from human origins.
Okay. So
baby Ruth bar.
Islam does not say submit to man. It says submit to God. Do you believe that, Luis?
I believe that I need to submit to God.
Let's see the atheist cats.
No, you believe that Islam says submit to God, not submit to any human being. So it doesn't make you submit to Muhammad.
No, I'm not. No.
That was my.
No. So what I'm saying is that every single religion requires me to get my information from another human being. I have to get it from another human. And so this is the work of a human. Like the Quran is the work of a human.
Is what you're saying.
No, what I'm saying is your God is either too weak or not powerful enough or mean, I don't know, to not give his message directly to my ears. Why does it require the use of another human being to hear the word of this allegedly great, all-powerful God?
So, let's say you want to get some pizza right now. Okay.
Oh, I do want pizza.
Does it? Okay. Well, I know. Well, I didn't know.
Hungry.
Actually, you know what?
Are you buying us pizza? That's so nice.
I'm ordering some Papa John's right now.
Oh man,
that requires the effort of other people too. Somebody's gonna pick up the phone. How do you think you do in your life requires someone else's effort, man?
I feel like I'm a decent person.
Well, I'm not a god. I'm not a god. I'm not God.
I mean, you're not. Yeah, but no.
I would argue that I am God to my dog.
God does not need you. God does not need
Apparently he does, because he needs someone to write this book. He needs it sent to me, and he needs you to call into this show to convince me that he exists. When he could just show up, tell me his word. I will submit. Done.
But that's not how.
It's how it doesn't work, because it's the work of human beings.
Our message works in the way that this message was sent as a test.
Allegedly.
So you have the book.
It's not a test. It's not. Does your God know everything?
Well, the point of the test.
Does your God know everything?
The point of the test is.
The answer is yes, and then the answer to that is, well, then there is no need for a test. And it's not just a test. And I've heard this test thing a lot, but it's not a test.
No.
If he's a test, he needs to show up and give us a freaking syllabus or
Let me
something.
just comment. The syllabus is there. Well, let me just comment on what you said before. So you said God doesn't need to test us because he knows the answer. A teacher doesn't need to test a student because the teacher already knows the answer.
No. God doesn't need to test us because he's all knowing.
Well,
Yeah, he would already know.
He would already know. Unless he just wants to be
the teacher
weird.
Already knows too. The teacher already knows the answers.
The teacher doesn't know what I know.
The teacher doesn't know what you know, but the teacher wants you to learn. That's the point.
Sure. So you know what the teacher does? They show up every week in a class. They show up. They prove why their stuff is correct. They answer questions, open-ended. They don't just say it. You don't walk. Listen, what it basically would be is we walked onto a college campus with 1,200. That's being, conservative. 1,200 empty classrooms, and in each one of those classrooms is a course study on a religion. And you can walk into any classroom and read the course study, and you can decide whether or not it's from a god or not. There's 1,200. There's no teachers. Nobody's there except other people. And all those people in the classes are telling you, hey, our class is the right one. Not that class, this class. That's not a test. That's not a test.
So the thing is,
that's a club.
Yeah.
That sounds like a club, okay?
Yeah. So the God is not testing me. He's not available. He's not answering questions.
That's not how religions work, though. Right?
Well,
every single religion tells you something else. Buddhism, Jews won't tell you that you need to become a Jew.
Yeah, I know. I appreciate that.
Yeah, no, Jewish people are nice.
Jews will tell you that, there's hell is temporary. You're going to go to heaven. Okay, that's how Judaism works. Christians will tell you strictly that you need to become a Christian to be saved. Muslims, the way we Muslims work is if you did not receive the message of Islam, like this, if you don't understand Islam, okay, you actually have a chance to go to heaven.
So how is that different from any other religion? They say this, you say that. How do we validate which one's right?
Well, the point is that you said, I was just commenting on what you said. You said that every single religion tells you, oh, we're right, they're wrong. We're right, they're wrong.
Well, wouldn't that be how you live your life, though, is based off of what you believe is right and wrong? So if that's the case, then you are constantly in the right versus anyone else that you're talking to?
The point is, my point was about heaven and hell. Okay.
I don't even care about heaven and hell, really.
Yeah, I'm more curious about the book itself.
That was my point.
I just ordered a pizza.
Jealous.
I'm a determinist, so you just determined me to order a pizza because you said something about pizza.
I'm on a diet, so I'm not ordering a pizza. I'm back to being healthy. I'm not even standing up. No, Jeff, no comparison.
So aside from
I could eat you. I could just throw you.
Yes.
Which you mentioned. What other things in the Quran make you feel like aside from the prophetic things and
let's say
in the book?
So here's the thing. Let's say Nat here is in Canada and I live in Georgia, and she's suffering from some sort of cancer. Now this cancer is very aggressive, so she doesn't have a lot of time to live if I don't get a solution to her. Now let's say I have the solution for her cancer. Okay, this is a very dire situation. I'm not going to write out the solution in parables with poetry and imagery. I'm going to give the facts and I'm going to send it to that doctor so that the doctor can understand it. And I sure as hell am not going to put it in ancient Arabic so that they can understand. Okay. So what I'm telling you is that the book, because it's a book, it is equal with every other book that's ever been produced by humankind. It is not special.
All right.
You think it's special, yes, but you're justifying what's in the book because of the book, because you think the book came from a god. But if you were to take it apart and read it like you read any other religious book and take those glasses off, you'll realize it's just a book of stories, just like every other book of stories. It's not special.
All right. So,
and a God that's all knowing, all loving, whatever, there could be a God that exists that just doesn't give a shit about us. It's impossible. So, but I can tell you right now, this book did not come from a higher being.
All right. So are you finished?
Yes.
I would like to comment on that.
I'll let you comment, and then we're going to have to wrap in about 5 minutes. I don't want to cut you off, but I'm going to run out of anytime minutes here pretty soon.
I appreciate it. Well, this conversation has been interesting. I've had the conversation things before, But
maybe I'll bring on Apostate Aladdin or Noodles, Infidel Noodle on a show.
Yeah, Apostate Aladdin. I've talked to him before, and he doesn't understand the Quran. But that's a side story. That's a side story. Let me get back to this. All right. Aside from these miracles, which you're talking, the miracles of talking to ants and all this, which you don't believe in.
That's not a miracle to talk to ants.
Magic.
You might not.
It's magic.
Different perspective.
I mean, I understand how they communicate, but that's not a miracle.
I'm going to ask you, how do you know he talked to ants?
Going back to the point.
But if I ask you, how did ants talk to him? You're going to say God did it. So it doesn't matter what your book says. You're just going to say God did it because you're not using.
Aside from those things.
Aside from those things.
How would you explain the linguistic and scientific miracles in the Quran?
Like poetry?
There's linguistic and scientific. So linguistically, okay, it is literally like there's some linguistic miracles in the Quran.
It's like it's like saying no one's ever painted like Picasso.
Let me give you some. You know how I'll give you just a few. For example, it says there's plurals like day, days, right? Day and days.
This is how God chose to communicate with me.
When it talks about day, just one day, all right, like when it uses just the singular form, it's used 365 times.
Wow. Amazing.
Wow. All right. Surprising. Well, that's one. Another one. Let me give you another one. The center of the earth is made out of iron.
Yeah, it's in the middle of the book.
Iron core. All right. 750 miles.
You know they did this with Harry Potter.
Well, the point is that how would you explain these things? Tell me.
They did the same thing with Harry Potter and they found those kinds of things. What you're doing is looking for something and then associating it. So like the number of times moon is mentioned in the Harry Potter books, and maybe like the Quran too, but what they've done is they've said, well, it said it this many times. And when you multiply that by itself, it equals the exact number of kilometers from the moon that we are. That's a miracle. Well, and it's in the Harry Potter book.
No, it's a happy coincidence.
Yeah, it's a happy coincidence. So
that might be a happy coincidence.
Or a purposeful coincidence.
No.
If a happy coincidence occurs more than
why be so elusive? Like, why would this God be like, hey, look, I'm going to send my message to them, but don't tell them I exist. I'm going to show them by putting iron in the middle of the book. But I'm also going to say that ants can talk. So now you don't know. Now it's confusing.
So, no, God didn't say ants can talk. That prophet specifically talked to ants.
No, he didn't. Nobody talks to ants.
What's the point?
Well, entomologists might.
You know what I mean?
Ant-Man might.
Yeah. Nobody's talking to ants. People didn't live to be 950 years old. Muhammad did not fly to heaven. And why would he fly up? Why is heaven up?
Yeah, heaven's another dimension, right? I don't understand why heaven has to be like the clouds.
Yeah, the splitting of the moon, which whether or not it did or didn't happen, I don't know.
The way Islam describes heaven can be perfect, like better associated to the multiverse theory.
Okay, so why did he go up?
But the multiverse theory is more accurate than the Quran.
He went out of the atmosphere.
Where? Why did he have to do that? That's not where heaven is.
He went through the different skies. So he went to the different universes.
Oh, okay. So he went up.
Well, he went out of this universe. Why would you go out of the universe?
So how did you get out of the universe? By going up. Which way's up?
Okay,
there is no up in space.
No.
When you take a rocket out to, like, I don't know, Mars.
Yeah.
Which way would you go?
So are you saying that?
Well, it depends on where Mars is.
Yeah, you're saying heaven is like Mars. We can get to it by leaving Earth's atmosphere.
Are you saying it's another planet?
That's a Mormon thing.
My point is, there's 7 universes. Okay.
So why would you get to one universe?
7.
Why would you get to another universe by going up?
So how would you get to any other place from Earth? Tell me.
Well, another universe?
Wormholes.
I mean, you're not going out into space and going somewhere. You're acting like it's inside this universe.
How would you go to anywhere outside of our atmosphere?
Well, let's see. Early humans, actually not early humans, but humans that wrote this book 1,500 years ago thought heaven was up there. They thought it was in the clouds. They didn't think that there was another universe out there.
And then Galileo did something.
They're saying go up. It's another good example of why people wrote this book. Humans wrote the book.
It doesn't talk about heaven being right above our head.
It says he went up. He went up
It says it went up
into heaven.
It talks about it.
All right. Well, you were just saying that it was poetry, right? So up could also be he rose to a higher being.
We don't know because
We
God.
don't know
God
because it's written
give us
by
this
the human.
in Arabic to somehow convince me.
So-
Even
Because
though
a celestial power gave us information that we didn't know how to interpret.
So if you left it at the point where it says Muhammad, he went up. Okay, that's nothing. Okay, there's more details than that in there, man. It says there's 7 heavens. It literally says there's 7 heavens.
great.
That sounds like
It sounds made up.
Are supposed to be 7 heavens are supposed to be universes. Okay.
Okay.
You know, we used to play a game called Seventh Heaven.
That's a different type. That's a different type of game.
That's a different. Okay, I'm so sorry. My bad.
The first heaven in our faith, the first heaven, this universe.
I don't want to cut you off, but I have to.
We've got to go.
Care what your faith says until you prove or demonstrate that it's from a God. Why should I care what your book says?
So no. I'm not saying for you to care. All right, I'm just explaining.
You can explain it, but I just don't. I don't find it net. It's.
The point is whenever you make certain videos, okay, you always like you tend like I'm just trying to clear some stuff up.
Okay, go ahead.
When you make certain videos attacking Islam,
I'm not attacking Islam. I don't.
Or criticizing it.
Yeah, criticize, sure.
However you would like to.
Which video specifically? Here's what we do. We got enough time. Pick a video and we'll let you discuss it and explain it to me so that I know that it's right, and then we'll close this out.
No. So you're using the correct terminology. So you're saying, like, for example, up. What is that, man? There's 7 universes in Islam. It's not up, just up. It's not like right above the atmosphere. We believe that God is sitting right above our.
No, it's somewhere up there.
You know,
Or down there.
that's not like that's not what we believe.
He would teleport.
We believe,
That's what would have happened.
we believe he. I mean, we believe he rode on an angelic being called Burak, an animal, and.
What part of this doesn't sound like a fairy tale to you?
I would like to ride on an angelic being.
Yeah,
That sounds like fun.
Right?
But don't go blind first.
It's part of faith.
God needs an angelic being to bring him. He can't just snap his fingers and bring him there.
Not God could do that too, but why?
But he chose to do it in a way that sounds made up.
Why wouldn't God? If he snapped his fingers, and like the way you're saying, he would pick it up anyways. You know, it's not like you wouldn't say it's made up.
Yeah, that's true.
Right? You would say it's made up in any form you present these things.
I mean, the God
You
could
would
show up
say
and tell
they're made
me
up.
that and answer some
You would
questions.
say they're made up. Okay.
Yeah, it sounds made up.
I'm telling you, all right, that
I didn't say it is made
you
up. I
really
said it
wanna
sounds
understand
made up.
the Quran, all right, not to convert.
I'll say it's made up.
Okay.
Not to become Muslim, but if you really want to understand the Quran, if you really want to understand it, okay, here I'll give you a name. If you're free and you're bored, all right.
Sure, go ahead.
You know, I don't know. Okay, search this guy up. Just watch the video. He's a clear guy. There's other people too, but his name is Noman Ali Khan. Okay?
Got it.
I don't know. NOUMENKLI.
Got it.
He has videos on YouTube about every single chapter.
So I need a guy on YouTube to explain the book from a God. Got it.
Well, no, bro, he's a professor actually. All right.
Okay, so I need a professor to explain the book.
Well, no, the thing is, if you need it, if you're not willing to do the research yourself.
He did the research himself.
I read the book, man.
No. Okay, I read.
What you're basically saying is, if you don't accept this as true, you're just wrong and keep trying.
Didn't you try to become Islam for a while?
I was Islam. I am an ex-Muslim.
There's a huge. That's a big thing.
I was Muslim for about 20 minutes.
Oh my God, that's not helpful. That's not helpful, Jeff.
I said my prayer on YouTube, so I was Muslim.
Look, man, I'm not telling you to.
I mean, at least I read the book before I converted to a religion. Who would actually convert to a religion before they at least read the book, right?
That's a good point.
Yes. And I respect that. And I'm not telling you to do any of that. I'm not telling you to believe in Islam because it's the ultimate. I believe that, but I'm not going to say that too because I understand where you're coming from. I understand your mentality to an extent. Okay, and I respect that completely. What I'm just telling you is to do your research like this so you have a better understanding. Okay. So
sure.
You're actually talking.
So what you're saying is I need an external thing. I need an external human being to explain the word of God.
Physics, for example, let me tell you something. Let me just comment on one thing. Physics, for example, is our understanding of the world, right? Our understanding of how things work. So all that stuff actually already exists. That's just how we understand it, right? So if you're a first grader and you're looking at a physics book for like, I don't know, AP physics or something, you're not gonna understand shit, bro. You're gonna read it.
I would argue that you can.
Physics does not come from a god. It comes from other humans. So what you're saying is that it's not a book. This is just like a physics book, and I got to study it because it's from humans.
No, but that's not how physics works. Laws of nature. This is what happens scientifically, but that's different than reading a book that was written by someone that has like
a god.
For you to understand.
No, because it was written by a person.
Well, yeah, but this is allegedly from a god.
But
Unless
it was written by a person.
Yeah, but unless this is like
Translating
a physics book. What you're saying is the Quran's like a physics book, right?
No. What I'm saying is, for you to understand anything in the world, you just study it.
So anything in the world that comes from a god, is this not special? Is the Quran not special?
See, what I'm saying is, for you to understand anything in the world, no matter if it's from a god, or from a man, or from anybody else, any being, anything, you need to have a certain level of understanding.
Okay, all right.
And to study it.
Okay.
All right?
Yeah.
Even our prophet inside of our book, when Muhammad got the message, he didn't just think like, I mean, you won't believe in this, but he didn't just think, "Oh, I'm a prophet." You know, it's not like he understood everything while it was. Boom. All right.
You're right. It takes a while for a human to understand things, and I believe that is true. What was your name again?
My name is Suhaib.
Suhaib. It was very nice talking to you, Suhaib. It was
almost over. I just want to say thank you, guys.
Okay.
I appreciate the conversation. Look the guy up. Just listen to his videos. Each chapter he has a video. It'll give you a better understanding, and you can criticize Islam better.
Will do.
You know. So it's better
we appreciate your resources. Thank you very much.
Yeah. Thanks.
Bye-bye.
Bye. Sometimes you just need to let a woman do the talking, Jeff.
Well, hold on. I'm going to bring Oz in. Oz, what were you about to do? Because I'm just trying to move this.
Oz.
Hi, Natty. How are you?
I am digging the shark, man.
I was gonna come in and do the shark troll job, looking after Jeffrey.
Well, we need to. You know what we're gonna do, Nat? Is we're gonna go to Discord after this.
Okay.
Tang Discord and continue this as an after show.
Yeah.
Because I mean, we're pushing 2 hours now. We need to. I got to get my pizza that I ordered.
I'm gonna be so sad watching you eat it.
I just feel like it's just like the Islamic excuses for the problems in their book are the same excuses that Christians use that they themselves criticize.
So I wanted to. I couldn't bring this up with him. What I forgot his name already. I couldn't bring it up with him, but I was going to go back into the concept of people needing to believe in something in order to gather together as a society, which goes into cultural evolution. Yes. And that's one of the basic needs, is to be able to believe in something and to blindly believe it, or not. You could, there are some people that believe they find the proof to explain said things. And I think I went into depth on Nate's show a while back on that, but
we need to do another call where we do one about evolution.
Yeah. Wait, are we doing it right now?
No, hold on. I gotta turn off my.
We need to do another night of me on and talking evolution. Okay.
We could go on, and it's funny because we just start this, and now I'm getting phone calls left and right. And,
oh no.
So, and I can't just.
Sorry,
I don't want to be on here for 5 hours. So next time I'll pull up the number up sooner. But what? So next week, and then Oz, I want you to talk about what we got upcoming in the week for Tang. So next week, I possibly have a person. I doubt he watches my show. So maybe I'll reveal a bit of my plan. But he wants to come on and talk about biblical slavery and explain to me why biblical slavery is okay. And we have obviously people in the group that know a lot about biblical slavery that maybe is able to coach both of us. So maybe they'll make an appearance, we'll say, in that. So that should be an interesting show next Sunday at 9. And
talk about ethics of basic animal actions. And,
the
evolution of workforces. So it's a whole other Yeah.
But Oz, what do you have? What's upcoming this week?
We have content.
Oz, do you need help?
So Friday we have.
We have a call-in show tomorrow.
Yeah, I was going to do that. I was going to end with that.
That's my favorite show. The Nate show's been canceled, right?
Yeah, you weren't supposed to say that loud.
Oh, sorry, guys. Sorry, it's Nate in the chat. Sorry, he doesn't know yet.
Yeah, you weren't supposed to say that yet. And he was replaced with a hamster that just runs on a wheel for 2 hours.
Oh my God, that makes so much more sense.
With the haircut, the hamster's got the
Yeah, it has to have the little flip thing going on. It's like gels up his hair, runs.
So I'm actually going to kind of work backwards here. So I said Friday. So let's start with Saturday. So I should have this confirmed by tomorrow. But Saturday night we're going to have Brandon on. For those of you on TikTok, Brandon is the very much. Is it liberal Christian? Is it a progressive Christian?
I think progressive would be the accurate way to describe it.
I lose track of all the terms.
Yeah, they got a lot of denominations now.
Yeah.
Refer to each other as, but yeah. So Brandon should be Brandon Robertson. If you guys are familiar, he's the homosexual pastor that loves to bombard TikTok and piss off all the other Christians.
Well, I like that.
So we should have him on Saturday. Then Friday night we have. Well, I have to say that I was on his show or his podcast. What was it? A month ago. And I think he's getting ready to. He had to travel, so he's a little behind on his schedule. But I went there, and he's getting ready to post my episode with him. But he'll be on with us on. Is it Friday? Hold on, I'm pulling up because I don't want to tell wrong dates here. I apologize.
Friday.
Yeah, Friday. There it is. I just wanted to make sure. Yeah, Friday.
I'm going to be gone. I'm going to be gone next week. Well, I'm going to be doing a remote show next weekend.
Ooh, where are you heading?
I'm going to be in Florida.
Florida?
Yeah. South
Florida.
So Todd Newton, and if that name rings a bell, it should. He is a 2-time game show host of the year award winner, entertainer, podcaster, and outspoken atheist, and he is funny as hell. He'll be on with us Friday at 9 p.m. Eastern time, and then kind of working backwards. Tuesday night at 9 p.m. It's actually going to be a dual broadcast with Normalizing Atheism and Tang, and we have a gentleman and one or two of his friends or connections coming on, and then it'll be Pasta Mike, myself, and then we're in conversation to have Daryl Ray from Recovering Religion on, and we are going to talk about religious trauma and the all the bullshit that entails. But that'll be a great stream for both channels and all the subscribers for both of those. That's going to be amazing. So if that's something you're interested in, I'll be looking forward to that. And then, yes, tomorrow night, Nate and myself and Biddy Buddha will be taking calls and having fun and shooting the shit with the Christians and all that. So.
If you have, Aunt Jer says, everyone, if you have the next 11 hours free, join the Ting Discord after the show. I will not be there for 11 hours because I've got to get up very early tomorrow and go buy a car because I don't have a car.
An electric one that doesn't cost $80,000.
I'm very specific about the car I want, and there is only one of them in the Southeast to purchase. And I already tried to get the dealership to listen to me. And I'm like, do not sell that car. I'm coming to get it.
Oh God.
And they're like, would you like to schedule an appointment? I'm like, no, I don't need to. Just get me the car. Bring it to me. I'll buy it. But he's going straight to Normalizing Atheism after the call-in show, 11 p.m. That's a busy day. Well, thank you, Oz, for showing up unexpectedly with your shark picture.
Da-da. Da-da. There it is.
Okay, you got to go. So thank you, Natalie, for being on the show.
No worries.
For coming out. And just for one last chance, let everybody know where they can find you.
I'm on TikTok. I'm Natty Nat. Same name, Instagram. And that's pretty much the only places you can find me because I'm not on YouTube.
And thank you again for showing up. And then look forward to next week, my remote show. I will be in Florida, and we will be talking about biblical slavery. Week after that, I actually am working on a show with maybe Atheist Cats coming on and talking about some history and taking some history questions from people. So that should be a fun show too. So thank you, everybody. We're going to Discord after this. Link to the Discord. I'm sure somebody can pop that in the chat down there so everybody can join over in the Discord. I'm gonna go grab my pizza.